And Larry David said, "You're from Boston. Why don't you have a Boston accent?" I said, "Well, when I got to college, the kids would make fun of me." And he said, "Why don't you just make fun of them?"
Oh my God, I love that. That's
and
amazing.
It's like, yeah, because I'm not
such a Larry.
Because I'm not you, Larry.
Yeah.
And I haven't. Yeah, I couldn't be myself like that at that point.
That.
Yeah.
Why don't you make fun of them?
Yeah.
I love
exactly.
that.
Immediately. And he didn't even have to think about it. And I had never even thought about making fun of them.
Why don't you turn it the other way?
Yes.
Right.
And had never considered it. I immediately just changed to placate them.
That's really interesting, because I will say that, like, one of the things that bullies would make fun of me for growing up would be that I was a nerd, sort of a bookworm. And in hindsight, when I would go back at them and say, "You're not smart," it wouldn't go well. Because it's somehow more mean-spirited to say you're not smart than to say you're a nerd.
Yeah.
That feels like an unspoken truth.
Remember that movie Broadcast News?
One of my favorites of all time.
When they show Albert Brooks as a kid,
telling
those kids they'll never earn more than $16,000 a year.
And the guy goes, 16,000, sounds pretty good.
I mean, that is a brilliant
scene. I always look at Broadcast News when people ask me to describe my shows. I say, I aspire to make my shows like the movie Broadcast News, which is to say, it's funny in a way where you see yourself in it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there's a larger story being told.
Yes, that mix of heaviness and the gut punch that you do so well, and very few others, especially comedians, are able to do that, because it requires some vulnerability and also confidence to not be making jokes the entire time.
Well, it's funny because your book does that. I mean, and your special, The Great Depression, does that. And it's like, my curiosity is, I know why I do what I do. Why do you do it? Why are you willing to give yourself to your audience like that?
I mean, part of it is that I experimented with it and it worked really well.
Like anything, right?
Yeah, and in that I started to open up about depression, and the more open and the more specific I got, the more, when I did my meet and greets, were people opening up to me and saying really thoughtful, kind things and being grateful, for which I was grateful on it. And so I was rewarded almost immediately. And also, I like talking about this with you, just the general mindset of comedians. But when we first start out, we're trying to get laughs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And once we can do that, we want the other comedians to think we're good at this and to not, and we talked about this. We said it's not, they say it's not show friends, it's show business, but it's show friends.
Yeah.
And you're going to get more work if people think you're good at,
Oh my gosh, I'm laughing so hard.
If people think you're good at this. So why not do jokes that not just the audience are laughing at, but your comedian friends are like, you know what? It may be hard to follow somebody who's killing, but it's better to follow somebody who's doing it in a way that seems fair. I remember this comedian, Frank Santarelli, saying he had this whole list of things, that little tricks you could do on stage, but if you did them, you couldn't come off the stage and say, "Oh, I killed."
Yeah.
Because you did the big one in the 90s when I first started was a stereotypically gay lispy voice, and it would kill with the audiences if you did that. But my friend Frank said, you can't say you killed if you did that. It's such a cheap trick.
Smart.
And yeah. If
you're doing a trope, it doesn't belong to you.
Right.
I said to somebody recently, a younger comic, who was doing like a kid voice from when they were kid. Don't do a kid voice.
No.
Or do a kid voice.
Yeah. Do you
when you were a kid, and then they didn't, and it was a great adjustment,
because it's specific. Yeah.
It's funny though, like your persona, and I feel like this is offstage too, is like you have like a confidence of like, you're really good at this. You know what I mean? And you sometimes tell the audience, you're like, I'm very good at this.
Oh,
you know?
I mean, it's insecurity. That's
you think so?
Yeah, that's the source of that. Braggadocio and bravado.
But you're it's very funny the way you do it. it works really
it's
well.
It's funny because it disrupts the status quo of comedians being self-deprecating.
Right.
Yeah. So they're not used to that. And also it's at the point we are in our careers, it's also true. We
There's
know
some truth to it.
we know what the heck we're doing. And also everybody is usually a little bit concerned at the beginning of a show with a comedian that they're not that familiar with, that the person is going to be uncomfortable or make them uncomfortable.
I certainly feel that whenever I watch a comedy show at all.
Yeah.
I'm concerned for the comedian every time.
Totally. It is so
You're setting them at ease.
anxiety-provoking. Yeah.
It's interesting, like...
And also setting myself at ease.
And setting yourself at ease.
Yeah.
Do you think of there being a hierarchy? Do you think, I'm the best? Or do you think, I'm top 10? I'm top 20?
I think after a cup of coffee, I would say... There's 100 people as good as me.
Yeah.
And I can't name that many who are like better where I would be. There are certain people who I watch and I think, like Sade and I, my wife, went to see Maria Bamford a couple weeks ago at Sony Hall. And most of us, you watch their act and you say, oh, I see how they got there. And that's a really good sentence. And I watch her and I think this is all inspired and I don't know how she comes up with this. The voice, it's magical and it's sublime and I'm in awe. So I think I'm excellent, but there are people who are better than me and there are people who are better than me who haven't done it. There's so much luck and timing involved, and there's this, and I think we've discussed this, but Kurt Vonnegut's idea of he had survivor's guilt after surviving World War II, and then he said as a novelist he had survivor's guilt because he thought a lot of audiences have failed artists, painters,
certainly,
writers, actors, and he said comedians, which I thought was very generous.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel at this point. We can name a dozen comedians who we'd say, oh my gosh, this guy is so hilarious and should be a household name. I think Eddie Pepitone is very well known, but he should be as well known as fill in the blank of person who's selling out arenas.
I can cut this out if you don't say it publicly because I forget whether or not you have. I've seen you do this live, but I don't know if you've done anything. But you'll make jokes at the expense of like well-known people like Chappelle or Seinfeld.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Do you do that publicly, or do you just do that in clubs?
I mean, I mention it in theater shows. I mean, the thing is that Chappelle talks about how sensitive audiences are, and I point out that he's actually a very sensitive guy, just like all comedians.
Certainly.
And then the thing with Jerry Seinfeld is that I feel betrayed because I was such a fan, and I bought sign language. Yeah. And I remember reading it and being outraged. I said, this is just his act.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I felt taken.
I get that. Yeah. Have you ever talked to Seinfeld though? Because
no, I've never talked to him. I've never met him. I've never been in. I was at a party where he was across the way, and I didn't think it was my place to introduce myself, and nobody introduced me. But I do make jokes at his expense.
With Chappelle, you do the
oh yeah, I don't like it when he slaps his thigh with the microphone.
Yeah. It's funny, like I don't know about you, I field a lot of criticisms of Ricky Gervais, Jerry Seinfeld, Dave Chappelle, these moguls of comedy, who have said things that people don't like over the years, and I always just play Switzerland with it. I just go, there's all kinds of comedy, and I like all kinds of comedy. Yeah, but I never
see. I don't care for Switzerland. I think. Of all the times not to maintain neutrality, and don't they say if sometimes not taking a side is taking a side?
Who says that?
And this is actually a bit I was working on, but Toblerone had a picture of the Swiss Alps on the side of their box, and Switzerland sued them to take the Swiss Alps off their box. And I remember thinking, yeah, the Holocaust, they're not going to take a side. But the Toblerone,
that's a great joke.
Using the thing, I could never get it worded right.
That's so
and I
funny.
continue to try almost every time I go on stage. Yes.
Keep in the act.
Yeah, you keep it in the act just so somebody else doesn't take it.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's our red line. Chocolate.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank you.
Here's my red
That's
line.
perfect.
It's chocolate. It's cubic chocolate.
But also, I just it'll turn into something that's also about Toblerone. Once I have a sentence that works, I'm hoarding anything associated with that thing. So I'll do something on the shape of it and the size of the boxes in the duty free.
Yeah. No,
like you need more luggage just to take the duty free size Toblerone or something funnier.
Yeah, I think that's a very funny joke. But yeah, I excuse me. I had a journey with this. I was early in my career. I was very critical of a couple of comedians, Jay Leno and Robin Williams,
because we feel betrayed because we love them and then they don't come through for us.
I think there's some truth to that. So like with Jay Leno, I used to do a joke on stage where I said, I like to tune into Jay Leno because I like to hear the jokes that I thought of too.
Oh, that's so good.
And it's funny, but at a certain point, a comedian said to me, like, he is one of us.
Right. No, that's a great point.
And I was like, that's fair.
That's a great point.
And so I stopped doing it. I used to make a joke about Robin Williams because he's known as a joke thief. And he stole jokes, and he talked about it on Mark Maron years ago. And, And it was a thing where he explained that like the way his brain works is whatever he had to stop watching comedians at a certain point because everything goes in and then he flies up on stage and he freewheels and it comes out. Whatever comes out comes out.
I remember hearing that.
I just remember doing a show with Robin Williams for the troops, for Wounded Soldiers, Wounded Warrior Project, and he talked to every soldier. These guys, really,
he was a beautiful
broken
person.
up, battered folks, and he would be the Robin Williams that they would dream of meeting to every single one of them. And and it was such a reckoning for me because I'm like, I'm for that.
Yeah.
And I don't even care if you steal jokes.
No, I know.
Like whatever you're doing, I'm for it.
No, totally.
And I became a complete convert on Robin Williams. Yeah. And I actually don't really, truthfully, I don't even really criticize any comic.
No,
I have a joke about Larry the Cable Guy years ago, but it's not even really that mean. It's just about having a catchphrase.
Yeah. I think what I feel comfortable talking about Seinfeld with is the difference in his lifestyle and my lifestyle, and that he has a building where he houses this Porsche collection, and I literally don't have enough room on my kitchen counter to keep the toaster on display at all times.
Oh my gosh.
We have to stow the toaster. So that's a joke from my
well, he should be
special.
Contributing to the Goldman Fund.
The Human Fund. So good.
The Goldman Fund. I gave to the Goldman Fund earlier this month. I tried to do a monthly. I was just getting so many phone calls from those guys. At a certain point, I just go, put me down for a quarterly.
But I think what I said was that we're in the same business. He's worth $1 billion, and he's better than me. But is he $999,911,000 better than me?
Oh my gosh.
That was
Oh, Gary.
Which I feel is the most vulnerable I've ever been on stage. Announcing your net worth to a group of New Yorkers is, I was naked up there.
Okay, so you say in your book that you wrote this book in grade school called The Lonely Train.
Oh, yeah.
And
I have it. I still have it. I'm gonna post some pictures of it.
Did anyone flag that
in
your life as a metaphor for the mental state that you were experiencing?
Nobody flagged it. This was a tree that was being teased by the woodland creatures and cried so much that he grew to be really tall. And I was always the tallest kid in my class.
According to your book.
Yeah. And so a tree
was being teased.
Yeah, I brought it home, and of course I didn't know that it was a cry for help, but my father loved it so much that he brought it to, and you may remember the name of this company, it was called Addison Wesley. And it was a publishing company that was on Route 128 in Reading. You could see it from the highway. And it turns out they published textbooks. Yeah. So he brought it to, I don't know who he brought it to. Maybe just a secretary or something. And they said, well, we publish textbooks, but this is a very nice book. They were very kind to my dad. But my dad didn't read anything into it. My mother didn't.
It's interesting. Like I was working on this joke recently about how my wife Jenny said to me, she goes, sometimes I feel like you're not happy, and I'm like, right. Like that was
really,
that was
man, that's some simple truth right there,
yeah.
which is like the greatest formula.
Yeah, it's
right.
like,
the simple truth. I don't mean in a disparaging way,
No.
formula, but the simple truth is killer. I mean, that's excellent.
right. And I go, yeah, I wasn't happy when we met. I thought that's what you were into. And then we got married, and I was like, this is amazing. And I'm
Yeah.
still not happy. And then
Yeah,
we have our
happiness
daughter,
is a
and it's
spectrum.
transcendent. Yeah, but I'm still not happy. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying happiness is a spectrum, and I'm in the best angle of this spectrum right now. But I'm not 100% happy all the time, and I'm and we discussed this the last time we were together. The big worry is that this thing will cease or be curbed somehow.
Which thing?
Just where I am in my career. If we had this exchange where I said, if I could trade any future improvement in my lifestyle and my career, and all I had to give up was that improvement, and I could have exactly what I have now, which is a nice touring act, and I'm comfortable in terms of paying my bills, I would trade any upside for what I have now.
1,000%
Yeah.
agree.
And
I could not agree with you more.
yes, and I think so. My only worry is that something would come along where like when the pandemic hit, I thought, oh man, this could really be difficult to tour in the future if they don't find a solution for this.
Yes.
And so, but I have to play the percentages with that as well and say, well, there'll always be something, maybe a book or maybe making albums. We'll figure it out. That is one thing that I learned from writing this book, is that there were all these horrible things that happened to me throughout my life.
Yeah.
And I figured it out each time, and I keep forgetting that things that seemed daunting or impossible, from tying my shoes to dunking a basketball, I've figured it out.
Yeah.
And to remind yourself of that when something new comes up, something you're afraid of, is a really helpful strategy.
So that's a point that you make in your book, and I'm curious, is there anything right now in your life that feels daunting?
Wow. It's a great question. And my wife and I have been doing the things involved in freezing embryos. Mm-hmm. And so you know what this is like.
Yeah.
Can I be a good dad?
Yeah.
Will I live long enough to be a good dad? Because I'm older for having a child, and it's also around the same age my dad had me, and he was not as involved because my parents were divorced. But I just, because one of the things you can regret not having a great comedy career, not giving it your all as a comedian.
Yeah.
But it would be hard for me with my mindset to be able to live with regrets of not doing a good job as a father or husband. And I think this is a really interesting question for you, which is, I said this to Sade, I said, we've been playing marriage at the easiest level and you add a kid and it increases the level of difficulty, the degree of difficulty. And we're doing really well on this. We're killing it.
Yeah.
We're very happy people.
Yeah.
But what happens when you involve someone that's also going to reduce your amount of sleep and put you in a sleep deprived mood frequently? That's a different version of us. That's like what was your joke about the version of Mike that it was one drink Mike or
two drink Mike?
Two drink Mike,
yeah, comedy
right?
album, yeah.
Yeah. So two drink Mike
loves dancing,
card trick,
magic trick, yeah.
Yes.
Zero drink Mike enjoys biographies.
Yeah.
And something
so sleep deprived Gary and Sade are not the same person.
And you're right. And what I'll say in defense of becoming dad is your aperture really opens in this way, or mine has, I should say, in this way that it's like it's you know, I say the cliche in my special, the new one, people say you're going to see the world through baby's eyes. And
right.
And then you
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And then you do.
Yeah.
And you go, oh man, the cliche is true.
Yeah. Yeah. And there should be another word besides cliche, because there's so much negative baggage in terms of cliches, but some of them are really true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the Dalai Lama gets away with a lot of cliches. No, but I got served, speaking of depression and unhappiness, I got served a video on TikTok where it was a clinician who was describing the difference between being unhappy and being depressed. And the way he was putting it, and I'm simplifying this, but it's like he's describing depression as the experience of almost like sand coming through a funnel, but it's too much sand.
Okay.
And so in other words, there's too many things to handle, and there's just a stoppage, and that's why people can't leave their house, can't get out of bed, just because there's a stoppage. And unhappiness is in relation to, or the way he was describing it, in relation to feeling like discontent with things as they are in your life. And when I heard that, I just thought, yeah, both. Both, right? And then I was like, but then also, aren't we all a little of both?
Yeah.
And we're not all clinically depressed.
Right. I think this reminds me of something. I just read this recently, and I must have been reading it recently again, because I remember reading this book a long time ago while David Foster Wallace was alive. But it's called Brief Interviews with Hideous Men, and it's a group of short stories, a collection of short stories. And there's one called The Depressed Person, and it's extraordinary. And one of the things is, I don't know what this is called grammatically, but he doesn't say they in terms of the depressed person. He says the depressed person in every sentence that the depressed person comes up. So he says the depressed person, and one of the main things the depressed person, and this depressed person had a lot of things going on, but one of the main things, and I was trying to get this across in the Great Depression, and when I read William Styron's Darkness Visible, which is a great account of a depression, they talk about the limitations. Styron in particular talks about the limitations of the English language in terms of describing what a depression is, and that the word depression is so small for what this is, and it also happens to intersect with the idea of I'm depressed because the Celtics lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, okay? So there's that, but also there's this frustration that in the depressed person talks about being so frustrated, maddeningly in the British sense of the term, maddeningly, like insanity, the frustration involved in not being able to describe to people who are not depressed, who do not have clinical depression, what that feels like. And it's so many things, and that is a really difficult thing unless you're a professional or you've experienced it. It is so hard to describe. So you can give symptoms, and you can give stories of how little you accomplished or how difficult something was, but it's so hard to describe. And I think that really hit me to the point where I'm feeling great, but I welled up and cried when he was talking about this, because I've been there, and I've been the depressed person. And it was just, it really, and also you're reading it years after David Foster Wallace committed suicide. So it's obvious that he understood it like very few have, but also had this ability to describe it in great detail.
I feel like when you and I first met, it helped me understand a certain thing about it years later, which is to say, you and I met in Los Angeles out at a show. We our sensibilities meshed. This is probably 15 years ago. And you were like, let's stay in touch. And I was like, great, let's stay in touch. And then I tried to get in touch with you, and you didn't get back to me. And I was just like, oh, I guess in my mind, I literally thought I guess Gary's just like a real operator. Like he's on to the next operation. No. But it's an assumption. Yeah. And years later, I find out you had these bouts of depression where you couldn't get out of bed, you couldn't leave your apartment. So there's so much going on. And it taught me this wider lesson, which is you cannot know what someone is experiencing. So it's so unfair to assume what their experience is of that.
No,
it was a huge lesson for me.
No, it is really a good thing to learn, and I could probably apply it to my criticism of famous comedians. But I think, and one aspect that I don't think we covered, and maybe you hadn't said that you thought our sensibilities matched. I remember thinking, even if I call him back, he was just trying to be nice. Oh my God. And what have I got that a young burgeoning comedian in his prime will feel like I was so insecure about my place in comedy, and it's possible that you thought I was a really good comedian and wanted to be friends besides that. And here's the other thing. Would it have been so bad if I was a terrible comedian and you still wanted to be friends? Yeah. Like, that's the whole thing, that I couldn't imagine anybody liking me other than that I was a really good comedian. And if I'm not a really good comedian, then they wouldn't want to spend
what value would I have?
Yeah, what value would I have? And it's just so it's sad, and yet it seemed so reasonable and was going on in my mind with just about everyone. So there were people, in addition to you, that I wouldn't say I was dodging them. I would just not get back to them and then start to feel so guilty about not getting back to them. And they'll think that I'm a jerk when I do get back to them. And there's also this thing of being afraid that somebody will tell me off.
Oh.
Yeah. If I do get back to them, like, who do you think you are that you can just take your time in getting back to me? And I called you 2 weeks ago, and it's completely unfounded, but it's depressive thinking.
Yeah. When you were in the depths of your depression, what could a good friend have done? Because I have a lot of friends who have substance abuse issues, depression, and a lot of times I'm at a loss for what I can do to be helpful.
I remember one of the nicest thing, and again, this is name dropping, but, and I don't know how she knew how sick I was, but Amy Schumer called me, said, let's go for a walk. We walked through the Central Park on our way to an appointment, and it was long walks with people that would get me out of my head, or in some cases just watching a movie silently with a friend, going to the movies. Just getting me out of the house was so helpful. And I'd go home and I would frequently say late at night, if I felt like this, I would have a life. Yeah. And then in the morning it resets. It's called diurnal variation, where you feel a little bit better at the end of the day, especially if you've gotten out of the house. So I used to go to a mood disorder support group it was on the campus of Columbia University, and there were a lot of trains to switch and buses, and as arduous as it was really helpful to get me moving. So and then I'd be with people who understood what I was talking about, and I remained friends with a few people from there, and one of them was telling me, he said, you would just sit there and listen, and it was heartbreaking. And I wanted
at the support group.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, that was the best part of my day. If I was there, I was really succeeding in fighting back, and it was immensely helpful.
Wow. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. I was going to...
No, I'm open to rabbit holes.
Well, it's like, I've struggled with this thing in the last few years where I've had depressed friends who just drop out.
Yeah.
I've tried to be helpful. And then at a certain point, they're just gone. Oh. And so then you just go like, well, where's the line?
Right.
Where's the line between, no, actually, this person might be a bad friend. Right?
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's a rabbit hole. I don't know that there is an answer to that.
No, that's a great point. I mean, recently I've taken a look at my friendships and done a little Marie Kondo decluttering. Yeah. And found, well, this person hardly ever initiates. I have to set up every meal. I'm going to let them do it. And in some cases they do. And in some cases they don't. And I just think, and my therapist was really good at this. He says, you can still have them in your life, but you do not have to expect anything more than what you're getting, and know what you're in when you go into it, and know that if you meet up with so-and-so, they're only going to talk about their job, and you're not going to get a word in edgewise. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But know that you're making that choice. And I thought that was really helpful.
That's fascinating. What this is kind of, I've never asked this question before on the show, but when Tom Papa was on, we had kind of a come to Jesus about our friendship, and it was actually really helpful in like a real life way. What is our relationship? Are we friends or are we work friends?
Oh, I think my feeling is always that this is a really busy guy, and I'll bet you that he wouldn't be able to fit me in. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I don't because there are a lot of things that I will think, oh, I bet you Mike would think this is funny. And I'm just like, don't be the guy who's sending, because we all have friends who send us things, and we're just like, I don't have time for this because if some friends, if they send you something and you react, then your next hour is in getting text back and forth. And I just, especially while writing a book,
right,
you don't have time for that.
Right. Attachments to links, the things you don't have a login for.
I feel like
it's like,
sometimes,
you know what? I don't have a Wall Street Journal subscription. I don't think I'm gonna have one.
Yeah. I don't know that Kafka meant this when he wrote everything he wrote, but there is something about the Wall Street Journal paywall that I think he would have related to.
I think so too. And I think so that's a fascinating let me just say here on the record, this line is open. I always want to hear from you.
Okay, good. That's really nice to hear.
I'm always happy to hear from you. I don't know. It's interesting because you and I have now known each other for so long.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're in a unique position in our friendship where we could actually theoretically point out things about each other that we could try in our act that maybe we don't even realize about ourselves maybe is funny.
Oh, that's really interesting. It's funny because very few friends ask each other what level of friendship they are.
Yep.
And that's I won't lie. It's not a comfortable position to be asked that question. It's very vulnerable to ask that question, and also on the other end, it's almost, I have to give an account of what happens with us when we're not in the same room, because we were on that documentary together.
Did a documentary together.
And I was so grateful that you were there, because I didn't know anybody as well as I knew you. And it was a great life raft, and we had so many great laughs, and then you were gone. And it reminds me of when I graduated from college. I had this close friend all through second semester, senior year. His roommate had gotten a girlfriend, so he was very lonely, I think. And I had just broken up with a girlfriend, so I was very lonely, and we connected, and then school stopped. And I remember thinking, well, unless he reaches out, I'll probably never see that guy again. Yeah. And he reached out, and we spent the next, it's now coming up on 35 years, talking on a every other day, weekly basis.
Wow.
And I could see a scenario where that friendship never took, because I was afraid that he would be put off by me reaching out right away after. And he called me like the first day of summer vacation. It was just, it's an insecurity that I should have put behind me 35 years ago with that piece of evidence, what I would have lost out on, one of my closest friends.
I'm going to have to call you tomorrow. So this is called the slow round, and we did this last time you were on the show. And one of the reasons that we're in a rush to do this again is that the first episode that you were on, and people should go back and listen to it, is one of our most popular episodes of all time.
Oh, really?
We've re-aired, and in it, we had the slow round, and you said, oh, you should get Anne Lamott's book, Bird by Bird, which I do have, and I recommend all the time. I followed her on Instagram. She did not follow me back.
Oh, isn't that heartbreaking?
Killed me. Anne Lamott, come on. Come on, I talk you up. I plug your book all the time. Are you just so massive?
I know.
But anyway, there's a thing that we now mention from Bird by Bird as a writing prompt often, and I'll ask you, which is, do you have a school lunch that you remember from your childhood?
Oh, wow. I do remember that one day my mom sent me with a full Italian sub to school.
Nice.
from a sub shop. And because I was used to her always putting...
You had me at Italian sub.
Yeah, putting sometimes just a jelly sandwich, sometimes just a jelly and fluff sandwich if we were out of peanut butter.
Yeah.
I, without looking into my bag, traded it for marshmallow fluff, which is peanut butter and fluff, marshmallow fluff, fluffinata.
Yeah, fluffinata.
From Boston. And I got a fluffinata, and I traded this kid unopened my bag, which I thought was just, at best, a peanut butter and jelly.
Right,
Definitely
you had
not
a restaurant quality
lunch.
Yeah. And this
I had a
guy,
restaurant quality.
yes.
And then I told my mother that night, and she was outraged.
That's fascinating.
And the great thing with my mother, as I point out in the book, is that she can never let anything go. The statute of limitations with her, she still asks me if I ever used the Nintendo that I begged for when I was in high school, by the way.
Yeah. What's the best and worst nickname you've ever received in your life?
In college, there was a football player, and he was really good, man. His name was John Stolberg, but not Jewish, as you'll see in what he nicknamed me. And I almost thought it was sort of like Bathos, because he was not a bright guy, but he came up with the perfect nickname for a Jewish person on a college Catholic school football team, which was, he referred to me as Gefilte.
Oh, Gefilte. But what does that have to do with you, really?
Nothing, except that it's a very specific kosher food. Oh my God. Gefilte fish.
And that feels anti-Semitic if he weren't Jewish.
Oh, it was so, yeah.
But it still can be.
He wasn't Jewish. It was, yes, it was definitely, yeah. It was. He just had a last name that sounded almost Jewish.
Sounded
but
Jewish.
But it was anti-Semitic, but it was kind of clever.
It's not clever.
It was off the beaten.
Syndrome.
It was off the beaten path.
No.
Okay.
Gary,
Stockholm
you've been
syndrome.
bullied with anti-Semitism. It's time you come to grips with it, and that's the level of friendship we're at. We've come a long way in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's really good. I appreciate that.
By the way, that's a good joke premise. The guy calling you gefilte when you're a kid and you're realizing as a grown-up that it's anti-Semitism.
Oh, yeah.
And all these years you'd covered for him.
Yes.
I thought it was clever.
Yes.
It's like, it's not clever. It's not clever. It's anti-Semitic and he's a bully.
Oh, he was a bully, though.
I think that's probably worth trying on stage, because I feel like with your delivery and the way in the way that you word stories,
interesting.
I think that has a really good potential to be a joke. Which is, by the way, what these slow down questions are intended for, is to yield jokes long term.
Right.
Is there a song that makes you cry?
Oh my gosh, so many. And most recently, while on stage describing how I had just listened to this song, I started crying while on stage. Bette Midler's The Rose. Holy mackerel.
What is it about the song?
Just the idea, because I'm big into metaphors and the poetry of winter versus spring, summer, the way that's used so frequently. So I have on my wrist this bracelet which says, "In the depth of winter, I finally found that within me lay eternal, an invincible summer." And it's Albert Camus, and there's something about beneath the hard frozen snow of winter, there was this seed of a rose that bloomed, and it was about love, and it really hit me, because that the one thing that you don't know when you're in the middle of a depression is that you may come out of it, and the belief that you'll come out of it can be very helpful, and that's what that hopefulness of that song really hit me and really resonated with me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I cry a lot with Eddie Vedder, that song about the elderly woman at the she's a cashier, and a man from her past comes in, and she doesn't say anything to him, And I think the name of the song is so long intentionally, but it's like I think it's called Elderly Woman Behind the Register it's off of Verses, I think.
Wow.
But I heard it a million times, but I never knew the lyrics. And when I looked at the lyrics, and also in an interview with Eddie Vedder, and he talked about the motivation and the origin of the song, that this woman was elderly, obviously, and this person who had been in her life a really long time ago was coming back, but didn't remember or didn't know her. And it was songs about loneliness really get me, man.
I get you.
Yeah.
Loneliness, I think, is the thing that so much of great art is about.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's people. It's like we're all trying to express what our version of loneliness is. And so if you can connect the way that song is connecting with you, then you're opening people up, and it's just a gift.
Yeah. I mean, just the fight against loneliness by people who feel that they're more comfortable alone, a lot of us.
Yeah.
And we're not more comfortable alone.
Yeah.
Really, we're social people, but
Yes.
there's all this anxiety and second guessing and insecurity, and a lot of times we're too afraid of the connection, because then you feel, and that's uncomfortable too.
Do you have any new material that's sort of half premise, half anything that you're working on that you want to throw into the mix?
Can I grab the
notebook?
notebook?
Yeah, you can grab a notebook, yeah.
All right, so
Can you hold that up so people can see it a little bit, or are you self-conscious?
Where's my
tree?
tree?
The camera right here,
Oh, okay.
right here. I mean, that's nice.
Oh, thank
I
you.
like that I can just see the word ignored in all caps.
Yeah, because I think there's a better word for this. So I talk about finding out when I was in third grade, I think, that Jesus was Jewish.
Yes.
And so I wanted to write this sentence where I said, what great news that Jesus, the focal point of Christmas, this holiday, but I should say Christmas, the focal point of Christmas was, and the word, I don't think it's the right word, was as ignored by Santa as I was.
Yeah. I love that. So you're saying,
you.
so the fundamental punchline of the joke is that really, to use the phrasing from Broadcast News, the movie we were referencing earlier, they're really burying the lead.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
In the sense of,
because
that Jesus was Jewish and at that devout.
Yeah,
he was a very serious Jewish person.
A zealot, according to the book Zealot by Reza Aslan. But I said, Hebrew school never mentioned Jesus. They bring up Jonas Salk, Hank Greenberg, Sandy Koufax, Kirk Douglas, and Houdini, but ignored the greatest magician of them all.
That's a winner.
All right. Then I will put a star next to that one.
The greatest magician of them all is so good.
Oh, thank you.
Because it acknowledges Christianity as a significant thing, but then it also undercuts it at the end. I wonder, this would be like an Ira Glass note, but it's like, how is that joke about you?
Right.
And like, are you ignored? Do you feel ignored? How do you feel about what's happening in the joke?
That's really good. That's a good Ira Glass note. Yeah.
That's what he always says. It's like plot and then how you feel about it, and then plot and how you feel about it. But man, is that funny? I think that's funny as hell.
Yeah. I mean, part of it is that I have this thing where Jews are so proud of anybody that does something, but then they're very particular about their pride in certain areas. They don't take pride in Jesus, and they don't take great pride in at least within the world of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I really identify with for some reason.
Yeah.
They don't really embrace Larry. As successful as he was.
Yeah.
They don't care for
You think
Larry.
Jewish people don't like Larry David?
Within the world, the universe of Curb Your
David.
Enthusiasm.
Okay.
The people, the Jews in general, love Larry David.
But in
the people
Curb
in
the
his
show
world
can't stand him.
And here's the thing. I kind of identify that with that in that I feel like a lot of my people who come to my shows are much kinder to me than my family is about my shows. Like my family is just so famous. I don't know if you get this from family and even close friends. They just damn with faint praise.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
all day.
Yeah, and it's
congratulations.
Yep.
Let's go over faint praise. Here's what you don't say to people who just performed their goddamn heart out on the stage. You don't say, congratulations. How did you feel about it?
Oh my gosh, the Barry Katz School.
Oh.
How do you think it went?
How do you think it went?
Oh.
Any other ones can you think of?
You looked great.
You looked great.
Yeah.
The set is gorgeous. Do you get nervous?
Do you get nervous?
How do you remember
it all?
How do you remember all the words?
Yeah.
Don't say these things.
No.
Don't say these things to a performer after they've just performed their soul to you. Just don't.
Yeah.
You know what? Lie. I don't care about your integrity. You just saw someone perform.
Totally.
Don't, your word is impeccable. Sure, maybe tomorrow it is, but not when you just saw the person perform. You go, I loved it. We loved it. Here's my favorite part. You pick one sentence.
Towards the end of my sets, I usually say, listen, I don't know what your threshold is for a standing ovation. But I know there are some people who have standing ovation integrity and you have to cry at some point. But I gave you a much longer show than you paid for.
That's so funny.
And you have to stand up to leave anyhow.
Yes.
But I wanted to run one last thing because it was on the idea of a husband and wife, and I talk about the expression "it was a different time."
Yes.
And I say during all these so-called different times, there were people doing the right thing.
That's right.
And during World War II, there were German and Polish people hiding Jews. But I wanted to add this thing where I say, but there are also men not hiding Jews and blaming it on their wives. I'd love to hide you. My wife she brought up the dairy restrictions.
Oh my God, that's
and
so funny.
I just I is it in poor taste?
I don't think it's in poor taste.
I would find it in poor taste if it was a non-Jewish person, but also I feel like as a Jewish person, where's the...
I think you're onto something massive, though. It was a different time thing. Is that in the special that you're developing right now? Like your next comedy special?
Yeah, it's about how my father was a progressive member of the quote-unquote greatest generation, whereas most of them were not. And people will say, well, he was a very racist man, but he served in World War II, and it was a different time. And I always say, this time, it must have been before the famous schism between right and wrong. When they split over creative differences, but that was my father wasn't a perfect parent, but he was a good person who was progressive in terms of he never said anything homophobic or racist or sexist, misogynistic. He was very progressive in his politics and his social views, and I just it's rare for white men of that era. Not rare, but uncommon.
No, I think that'll joke will work. It helps me to see the context of it, the ramp into it.
Right.
Because I think that the energy of that premise will roll into I think the blaming their wives becomes if this, what else? Right. And then I think it might be beneficial to do an if this, what else for four other things.
Yes.
Like who else was blamed? Who else did a thing that was on the line? But ultimately, if they blame their wife, but ultimately wasn't helpful. Like other examples of people who weren't helpful.
Yeah.
It's no, I think that's great though.
Thank you.
So the final thing we do on the show is working it out for a cause. Is there an organization you contribute to that we will contribute to?
I contribute monthly to the Helen Keller Foundation, but it's part of this thing that I discovered from Peter Singer's book, Doing the Most Good. Have you ever read that? It's sort of a 100 pages on effective altruism.
Okay.
And Sammy Koppelman put me on to it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And so there's a website called givewell.org, and it's the most intense and analytically driven idea of what is doing the most good, it seems, in terms of your money saving the most lives is how they figured it out. So they said that with $5,000 contribution, you're saving one life by contributing to either this group that puts up nets, malaria nets in Africa, and in the case of the Helen Keller Foundation, I think they give vitamin A to kids so that they don't go blind or die.
Wow.
So I contribute every month to the Helen Keller Foundation. But we could also do givewell.org at the general fund where they put it to the best use.
Yeah, why don't we do givewell.org?
Yeah,
because
it gives people a lot of choices there.
People can learn about the Helen Keller Foundation and all the other ones.
Yes.
No, I think it's beautiful. And it's and I think you're beautiful. and I'm glad that we had this talk, because I think it's going to augment a stronger friendship. I'm going to text you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And do a follow-up. I think we can take our friendship to the next level, and also even our joke collaborations, because I have a lot more jokes here that we didn't even get to, and so do you. And I think we could be regularly bouncing. So you finally come to me for advice.
Well, that's true.
I knew it would happen sooner or later. All these years, I've been asking you for advice, getting your wisdom. Finally, the other day, you texted me, I'm thinking of working on a stand-up set, because I did one 10 years ago on a lark, and then I listened back to it, and it was actually pretty good, and maybe it could be something. So why don't I come on the podcast and we'll work on a stand-up set?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna maybe play some of your stand-up, and then maybe we'll stop and start with your stand-up.
Okay.
Because I actually think this is we get a lot of questions and emails from people who listen to this podcast. And I think a lot of times this is what they crave, which is, how do you start with nothing or next to nothing and then build something from it?
Well, that's exactly what I'm interested in. Right. So because I realized that when I did this set, you'll hear there's a thing that had just happened to me.
Yeah.
That I knew was a funny story.
Yeah.
I just knew it was a funny story because I was telling my friends that story.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a totally solid, funny story, and I can imagine how you tell it on stage. And so I did that. And then I just thought of other stories along similar lines that could go with it. What I don't know is if I really wanted to actually make a stand-up set and put myself into the position that you're in, I have nothing. So where do I begin? That's the thing I don't know. And how do I move from like a list of like, here's some possible topics, to now I'm writing a joke with a structure,
right,
and it connects to the next joke. Like, that's the thing that I'd like us to talk about.
Right. I'm glad that you brought that up in relation to it's a story you would tell. Whenever people say to me, I want to try to do stand-up, but I don't know where to start, I always say to them, what's a story you tell? When you're at a party, Zarna Garg was on the show the other day, and like for years she was like the funniest person at the party kind of thing. And then like her kids were literally like, you have to do this for audiences, because fundamentally it really is, stand-up comedy is a party. It's one person being a little overly talkative and then a group of people kind of like listening in and being like, oh, okay, this is a good story this person's telling.
Yeah.
So I do like that analogy. Okay, so let's play a little bit of it.
This is from the Eugene Merman Comedy Fest. Okay, so that thing where I say, like, I had this experience and I don't know what to make of it. Now, you would do that in a radio story, but really you don't need that for a stand-up bit. There's no reason to throw that out there as bait. You could just say, I had this experience and go.
I agree. I think
was waste.
Qualifying it is only making the audience think about it too much.
Yeah. But on the radio,
I like
you want that as bait.
So far, I like it, though. I mean, like, I like that you call out as a comedy show. You're known not for comedy shows. You're known for being a radio producer and host. And then I think playing music under it seems good.
All right, I was standing there with an iPad, but I could play music from. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So I was in Breckenridge, Colorado, which is a mountain town. Okay, I had never been there. Are you from there? No, I love it. You love it, though. Yeah, it's like a big place for outdoorsy people. and it was like an incredibly beautiful day, and it's super outdoorsy. And at one point, I was on stage, and it's like 1,200 public radio listeners, who you would think would be like the least outdoorsy people in town. But it turns out even they are pretty fucking outdoorsy. And I had this experience where, like, I said to the audience, I said, okay, I'm going to say something to you now, and I don't know if it's a good idea to say it to you or not. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it to you, and then we're going to vote on whether it was a good idea for me to say it to you. And then what I said to them was, I've never been hiking. And then 1,200 people went like, oh. And I was totally like, what happened? And then they voted, and it was definitely not a good idea. And then I was like, what is it? And then people were calling out to the audience, it's like, we just see you differently now. And I was trying to figure out, like, what does that even mean? And I was trying to, like, imagine that in my world. Okay, so I'm in my 50s, and, like, so to them, for somebody in their 50s to stand on stage and say, I've been on this planet for 50 years, and I've never been hiking. I'm trying to think about what would apply to this room. It's like somebody would say, I've lived in New York for 50 years, and I've never been on the subway. And just think about how you would look at them. That's how they looked at me. Of like, what are your values? Who are you? What choices are you making? And I was like, well, wait, but hiking, it's just walking, right? Like,
Let's pause for a second.
Like, giving you this fancy nomenclature.
So this is great.
Yeah.
It's a great start. I think like there's a couple like rookie things that are kind of neither here nor there. Like, for example, like Breckenridge, Colorado, people are going to woo. You can't acknowledge it.
Just move on. Okay.
Yeah, you're just wasting people's time.
Okay, good.
Because everyone woos for everything. Every
Okay.
location, every whatever.
Okay, great.
When you do the fucking outdoorsy, you can do it, but it's like, just know that the fucking is uncalibrating your laugh. So in other words, like, you don't actually know whether that's funny because it's like a comedy. Jim Gaffigan calls it, like, using the word fuck, like a comedy steroid.
Oh, that's so
You don't know the
interesting.
muscularity. You don't know the muscularity of the humor because people just have a guttural response to the word, and so you're just kind of like, all right, well, I don't even know if that's funny.
That's great. It's funny. I said fucking because that's what I would have said
In real life.
In real life,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
But they don't know me. Really.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like, look, I mean,
Yeah,
look,
no,
you
that's
can-
a good note. Like, okay,
You
good.
can do it also, you can do it once because it's funny that the guy on public radio is saying fuck. Like, that's funny. That is
Yeah.
funny. But if you do it 4 or 5 times, it's like, what's diminishing returns?
And also, it's cheap.
Yeah. And then, I think like this is a perfect example of like how storytelling is one thing and stand-up comedy is another. It's really funny when you go, we see you differently now because you don't hike. And then you go an analogy of like, that's the equivalent in New York if someone's like, I don't use the subway. But then I don't use the subway. That's an opportunity that's joke soil. Like that's an opportunity to do a tag
Oh,
about
really?
like something specific on the subway, or to do other examples of what else is like the subway. That's like going to Texas and being like, I don't have a gun. That's like going to blank and being
Right.
like, you know.
But wait,
that's
what,
like
would,
that's
what
like,
would other subway jokes
that's
be?
like going to
off-
that's like going to Florida and saying I've read books, you know, but it's like that's your opportunity once you've gotten into the analogy. Sorry, Florida, by the way. I know you read books, some of you, but that's your opportunity because it's your step out from what your story is.
Oh.
And that's what separates. So you're just throwing away these lines. You're like, you're kind of like free associating once you have the subway analogy, which is a good analogy. But then you're just kind of like going like, you'd be like, what the heck or whatever. It's like, well, those are wasted lines. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of just like, you're improvising clearly. But like you either have to get to more of the story or have your jokes be better and sharper.
Right.
It's like, if this, what, you know, all of joke tags are, if this, what else? If this, what else? If this, what else? Like a great example of that is like when you see an improv show, essentially the scene that you're watching is, here's like a regular day in the life of a family whatever, living in the woods or whatever, just going about their day. And then something happens where it's like someone discovers, wait, you have a cell phone? Like one person's
Right.
doing something different than everybody else. We all
Right.
agreed we weren't going to. And then the whole scene ends up being an act out of what would happen if
Right.
you had a family living in the forest, no technology, and then it turns out one person doesn't have a cell phone. What's the act out of that?
Okay, so in this instance, if I would go further just on the subway without going to other cities or states, where would I go what else would I say about the subway?
Well, you could be like, and you try to play it off. You'd be like, of course I've been on the subway. That's the train on the tracks with the wheels and the steam, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's like an act out of that
Right.
conversation.
Right. I see.
I don't know.
Okay.
That might not be good, but
All right,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying
that's-
like
yeah,
that.
okay.
Like that's like a common way to make something that's a premise into a joke, which is to act out the hypothetical of if that happened. Like, so you're
Right.
saying like, I said I've
Right.
never hiked, and they were like, what the heck? And you're like, that's like if I was like, I've never been on the subway. And then it's like, you imagine like, well, what is that? What's the act out of that conversation? And then you're like, oh, no, I've been there. Mm-hmm. The orange seats and the,
Yeah. Okay.
all right.
All right.
Let's keep playing.
All right. Okay, so wait.
And I was like, well, wait, but hiking, it's just walking, right? Like you're just like you need this fancy nomenclature, but you're just walking around. And they're like, yeah, but it's in nature. But I was like, how different is that really than when my wife and I go walking around like the West Village and looking at stuff that like it's totally different because it's nature. And I was like, but why is that different? And then there was also like a kind of whoa. And I really felt something I almost never felt, which is like New York pride. Because I honestly don't give a fuck about New York City. But like, I really felt like, oh my God, I'm now a New Yorker. I had to come to Colorado to realize that I'm a New Yorker.
That's all true.
And then I'm talking to the audience about like, wait, what's so good about it? And then somebody like in the way back of the audience yells out something. I was like, what did you say? And everybody's around them is like claps. Like, that's right. And I was like, well, what did they say? What did they say? And then somebody like a little closer to me in the auditorium yells out something I can't hear. I was like, what? And everybody around them sort of like, that's right. What did they say? And then somebody like near me is like, sex while hiking. And I was like, sex while hiking? And I was like, well, how many of you 1,200 people have had sex while hiking? And then it was like, all of them. No. And then they were all like, yeah. And now I just want you to picture this from where I was standing, okay? When you do a public radio event, and it was just kind of it was a fundraiser, so it's like kind of expensive thing. It's like $60-$70 for the tickets, which
This was years
like,
ago.
is expensive here, but in Colorado is crazy. Like, I don't know if you've ever
What
tried
cost
to
was that?
buy anything anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like so my favorite thing so far
Yeah.
is hiking is just walking. That's
Why?
so funny. And I feel like you could do 2 minutes on that. Like
Is
I
that
think,
true? Why?
I-
What's there?
No, it's just funny. It's like, I mean, we were talking about this earlier before you showed up. Is like what is essential to a great joke? And I think a lot of it is you have a setup, something that we all believe to be relatively true, and then the thing takes a left turn, so that there's a surprise or something we don't expect. And then even better than that is if the surprise reveals something about you, the person talking.
Right.
That is even maybe a confession of some kind. That's kind of like a quintessential, like the best case scenario of a joke. But I think like if the setup, hiking is just walking, is true, and we all believe it to be true, and it's an astute observation that we're not thinking about all the time,
Yeah.
that's kind of gold. Like we were saying earlier, like an example of that is there's a joke in my last special, Old Man in the Pool, where I go, healthy food goes to bed early. And it's like, it's funny because we're like, yeah, it totally is. Healthy food does go to bed early. And it's true, and it's a joke, and then I can do tags about it once we're in that world.
And so for that, like, what could I build off of that? Because I feel like I don't even know how to picture what I'm building off of. Hiking is just walking.
Yeah.
Well, hiking is just walking, except when you're walking around New York City versus when you're walking around the woods, you don't see a bear, but maybe you see. Like, I'm trying to think of the name of like the right celebrity.
A human being
no, a human being masturbating. Yeah, it's literally, I was just trying to like think of like the right level of celebrity for that joke.
Or you might see someone throwing you down the stairs.
Right. But is that what you mean? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it is what I mean.
That's what you mean.
Yeah,
and just and then just basically run the comparison of hiking versus walking.
Yeah, because I think fundamentally with
because
you're telling a story, right?
Right.
And what you're focused on as a storyteller on your radio show and when you're touring all the time is like, what's pulling them to the next idea? What's pulling them to the idea after that? So then.
Right.
What people go to see stand-up comedy for is kind of to be on the scrambler of ideas and words. It's kind of like, if musically it's like jazz. It's just like, well, where are we going to go? And so you going like from hiking to the subway to this, like jumping around actually is part of, I think, what's fun about it.
Okay,
if
so
the ideas are interesting.
Okay, so here's another pitch for hiking is just walking, except when you're walking around a city, there's something interesting to look at. And the problem when you're in nature is it's just trees.
Oh, that's great. It's repetitive.
It's repetitive. It's just.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like,
there's no variety.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, yeah, we get it, forest. tree, dirt, like
tree,
pattern.
Yeah.
Repeating. Okay, and then I wrote down sex while. So let's say you set up the idea of hiking is just walking, and then you get to this really funny part about sex while hiking, and they all kind of know it's like an inside joke on you, which I think is a joke unto itself too. The joke on you from the audience is funny.
Dude, I have to say, like, this is the thing I don't know the answer to, and I don't sell this well in the stand-up set, is I literally don't know where they're putting me on. 1,200 people.
No,
they're not putting me
real.
on. They all have had sex while hiking.
I'm going to ask Gary and Mabel, do you think this is a thumbs up or a thumbs down on things people do? 100% yes. Yeah, they're both saying 100% yes. Yeah, people do this.
Yeah.
No, they were not putting you on. And actually, I think it's an interesting part about this is where the personal revelation can come in. I think the thing you're describing to me right now is interesting. The fact that you don't know about this conspiracy of sex happening in the woods is hilarious.
Wait,
because it's a personal revelation about you. It means you haven't had sex in the woods.
No.
And so as a result, you're divulging this to the audience.
Yeah.
And then so the joke is on you in the story, but also the joke's on you with the audience, which is good.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's super funny. So then I just had a tag, which is sex while hiking, and then you're like, is that a thing or whatever? And then I thought as a callback to your own joke, sex while hiking is just sex while walking. And then you could be like, are people having sex while walking?
Wow. Okay.
That all tracks, right? Like as something that could be something. I'm not saying that that's the thing. I mean, I'm just like sitting at a table here.
Okay. All right.
Let's keep going.
All right.
It was a fundraiser, so it's like kind of an expensive thing. It's like $60-$70 for the tickets, which like is expensive here, but in Colorado is crazy. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to buy anything anywhere outside of New York City. You remember what it was like before you lived in New York City? Like, okay, so my wife and I, we moved here in 2006 or 2007.
Okay, I feel like this next joke is kind of cheap.
Okay.
And I had this experience 2 years ago. I was in Dallas. Yeah, awesome, right? And I was at a bar with 3 people, and I went to the bar to buy us a round of drinks, and I remember it was 2 Jamesons and 2 beers, and I pull out $40, and the bartender's like, that's $14. Did we travel back in time?
Pause. What are you about to say?
I was just gonna say, like, that's like a very funny joke. 2 Jamesons, 2 beers, $14.
the end of that joke is like what that would get you in New York.
Right.
In New York, it's like in New York, if you went to a bar and asked for a glass of water, they would say it's $14, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to give the sense of like what New York is like.
Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just more there than I'm using.
Yeah.
Did you guys know this? It's like it's crazy. It's so expensive in New York City. So, but anyway, so it's expensive. So the people who come, and I say this with respect, we're old people. That's who comes to a thing where there's $60, $70 tickets. So like in front of me, I mean, in the back seats, there's some cheap seats, but really like most of what I can see is older glasses wearing people. And so picture like your audience of your parents, older people. So like what's going on? So I'm saying to the audience, wait, how many of you had sex while hiking? And then it's really like picture, it's your parents, an auditory of them going like, yeah, of course, how are we like, yeah. And then
Here,
in the
pause for a
car to
second.
the airport.
I think there's an opportunity here to be like, it's older glasses wearing people. It's people who look like me. It's me talking to people like me
that's
who
funny.
had sex in the woods, telling me that I have not had sex in the woods.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
driver was in his 20s. I was like, is that
Okay, so then I did a big transition here. So the next day I had a driver who was young to take me to the airport. And then I asked him,
not real? Like they were just like the whole audience figured out that they could put me on. And he's like, no, dude, no, it's totally real. He's like, me and my girlfriend every weekend, we take a hike. And that's what we like to do. We go and we have sex like in the woods somewhere and we bring a hammock. I was like, a hammock? And then you just picture the like, I was like, why do you even like, but now I just like, I really wanted to know the physics of that. But I feel like it's going to get really technical in kind of a gross way. Do you know what I mean? Of like, well, she puts her legs, I just didn't want to hear it. But like, and then I was saying to the audience, like, sex while hiking, like on the ground? You know what I mean? Like in the dirt? And I said this and they're like, you find a rock. As if that makes it. And I don't know if you've been outside, but there's like bugs. And like, it's Colorado, there are bears. Okay. Have you guys, how many people here hike? Can I just hear? Okay. How many of you had sex while hiking?
Here, pause for a sec. I just think there's two opportunities here. I think one is a hammock, and you can be like, what else? Like that, like what else do you use? A fishing rod and this and that. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think of other fishing, like other camping,
camping
supplies,
stuff.
because the hammock is so nonsensical in a certain way. It might be funny. I don't know camping supplies, but like,
yeah,
it just might be funny to do that. And then, a fishing rod, a torch, or this or that, or whatever. And then you find then you ask the person, and that person goes, you find a rock. And then I think there's an opportunity there to be like, you think that's the answer? You think that solved the puzzle in my brain? You find a rock? What size of rock? I'm just imagining two people having sex on a pebble. Like, oh, this hurts my back. So I just think there's something there. I think what's funny is that this actually goes back to, I think you taught me years ago about storytelling on This American Life, which is, and I quote it on this podcast all the time, which is like so often a story is the plot of the story and then a little bit of how you feel about that piece of plot, and then more plot, and then a little more of how you feel about that. And with my stories and what I'm pitching you to do, the how you feel about it is jokes.
right.
It's extrapolations of letting your brain kind of go for a walk and free associate in kind of the most absurd way
Right.
on how you feel about it.
Right.
And like putting yourself in the shoes of yourself, talking to this local guy, being like, do people do this? And him being like, on a rock. And it's like, how do you feel about that? Like increasingly, like it's almost like a Kafka-esque story. It's like increasingly you're the person who's not involved with this like mass sexual hike conspiracy.
Yeah.
which I think is funny and I think oddly relatable.
Huh.
I think we've all been in a situation, whether it's not sex and hiking, obviously that's just you, but like other things where slowly we realize we're the person
ones who
who's
doesn't
on
know.
the outside
Yeah.
of the thing. I think that's what the story is.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep playing it.
All right. This anecdote's almost over. Here we go.
They do not advertise hiking properly at all. So is that why REI is such a big thing? Okay, so last weekend, I went to another mountain town. I was in Missoula, Montana, 70,000. All right, yeah, awesome place. And then I laid out the whole thing and the sex while hiking, and they all were like, yeah. And then I get to my whole speech about public radio, and then there's question time. I took 6 questions, and the last question was some lady in the audience in the way back row. I couldn't see her, and she raised her hand. She's like, want to go hiking tomorrow?
That's a great ending. Want to go hiking tomorrow?
I didn't even write it myself. Some random lady.
Oh, right.
That
She
really
said
happened.
It. That really happened.
That really happened. Yeah.
Want to go hiking tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then did you go?
No. I was a married man.
Right. But like for the joke, this is where the journalism of your show and the comedy that I do depart from one another, which is like, if it's working, I might place this in a scenario where you're not married when this story happens.
Right.
And then you would go, so we went hiking and we didn't even have sex. She just wanted to go hiking.
That's fine.
She and I are the only 2 people who don't think that this is what hiking's for. This is actually what people ask for all the time, but since we have Josh Johnson and Tig Notaro and all these people who are pros, it's more like level 10.
Yeah, they know
of
what they're doing.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people, listeners are like, how do I start? And it's like, this is actually
This is
how
actually,
you start.
so I'm good because you basically finally got a listener who's a beginner on the show.
True. Yeah. We found our guy.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah. Well, you have some.
I don't know. I feel, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I feel, yeah. I feel like I'm totally civilian level funny. I'm not professional level funny. And I know that because when you say like, well, I know that because you and I work together, and sometimes I'll be like, we need a joke here, and you'll just have a joke. You'll just and then we'll be, no, not that one. You just make up another one. Just
Yeah.
like, I can't do that. Like when you say like, oh, fill this out with more jokes right here. Like I feel like I don't know. That's a part that I feel like that's a part that I don't know how to do. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I don't know if my brain associates that way.
Well, you definitely
Pre-associates
can.
that way. Yeah.
It's just a matter of forcing your brain. Well, like you and I have this when we worked on Sleepwalk with Me, the movie, and Don't Think Twice, the movie. It's like your thoughts when we would do readings or we'd be in the edits was like the way that I'm pitching jokes, you would pitch story.
Yeah,
You'd
absolutely.
be like, you need the character to say the fundamental question of the movie in this scene,
Right.
for us as an audience to understand what the movie is about.
I mean, it's
Right.
funny because it's such a radio story thing where in a radio story, you really do say what the story is about, but radio tends to be a more didactic medium than film. So and in film, it could be really bad if you say it.
But it's funny
but in
because-
this case, it worked.
But you have that first story. Your brain,
Yes.
you've basically chiseled your brain into a knife that
Yes.
that it strikes at story all the time.
Right.
And you're so good at it. But my brain has chiseled towards just being
Being able
joke.
to
How is this a joke?
free-associate.
How is this a joke?
Where
How
is
is this
there
a
a
joke?
joke? Right.
And what I would say to the listeners, if you're considering doing stand-up comedy, but you're like, I don't get how to make the joke, is like, you really have to trial and error. This is how I started. When I was 19 years old in college, I was working the door at the DC Improv. I came up with my own exercise, which was you write down a setup, which is something that is true or we all believe is true. And then I would write 5 punchlines. Like, what about this? What about this? What about that? So like the first joke
what would a
first joke I ever wrote that worked, we have it in Sleepwalk with Me, where I go, my girlfriend is getting to the age where she's thinking about having kids, which is sad because we're going to have to break up. I've decided I'm not going to have kids until I'm sure that nothing else good can happen in my life. And the reason the setup is a setup is that my girlfriend's a little older than I am. She's thinking about having kids, and we all go, okay, I'll take your word for that. Sure.
Okay.
That's a setup. Sure. And
then the
which
first
is sad.
joke-
The
and
punchline is
the
sad
first
because
joke
we're
is
gonna have to
we
break up, right? Because we
and
don't
then-
see that coming because it's like, whoa,
Right.
that's how extreme you're gonna go.
Right.
And then I've decided I'm not gonna have kids until I'm sure nothing else good can happen in my life. I think it's a joke because it's just a revelation.
Right.
It's almost like a philosophy. It's like, oh, not only is this guy not ready to have kids, he has like a life philosophy on why he essentially would never have kids and why would anyone ever want to have
Right.
kids.
Right.
So that's why, that's why that was. So that's what I would say to the listeners who are considering writing jokes is like, write out a setup, something we all believe to be true, and then write out 5 punchlines. And honestly, just like see if you can find a friend, ideally another friend who's trying to do stand-up comedy, and just bounce back and forth what your punchlines are.
Yeah.
And so often I'm just writing down a setup and I'm writing down 5 anything. Like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Because
Okay.
you actually don't, and that's what I would say to you about your story. You don't know what is gonna work. I mean, when I go this weekend as a Comedy Cellar working on new jokes now that I've wrapped The Good Life and it's like on to the next chapter, and it's like I don't know what's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this almost 25 years. I do not know what will work. I'm just going like I have a sense of it. I'm like, yeah, I think this is funny. I'm gonna say it in front of people.
Yeah.
But man, do you find? I had a joke this weekend, and it was like, I didn't know if this was going to work. I go, it's stressful living in this era of our country. I go, the other night, 11 o'clock at night, Jim, my wife texts me, Trump is trying to dismantle the FDIC. And I wrote back, baby, we'll work on it in the morning. And it's like, and it killed because people just feel that way. But I don't know if people feel that way. That's just how I feel. So it's like a lot of your stuff, I would say, like, write out like how you feel and try it. Honestly, like repetition is like by far going to be your best friend in this.
Repetition, you mean get up on stage and just try them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or even like run it with 5 people, 4 people, 3 people. Hey, can I run these jokes by you? And like the thing about laughter is it's so different. Jokes are so different from stories in terms of people's reaction. People don't fake laughter. Like it's just, or if they do, you know it. You're just like, yeah, that's fake laughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people, if you get people, you really can see it.
Is there a point for me when I write a story? I sit down and write a story.
Right.
So do you have a point during the day where you're like, okay, this is the time during the day today where I'm going to write jokes?
Yeah, I think it is typically it's the morning, set aside the morning for writing because it's before I'm kind of like afraid of the world, before I have the news and this and life things coming at me.
Yeah.
I try to set aside the morning where I'm fresh. And the key thing I think with free writing for stand up is to free write and let your mind go wherever it wants to go, because it's just going to be so much junk, like a majority junk, pages,
Oh, wow.
pages and pages
Really?
and pages of unfunny things. Yes, I think almost any comedian would tell you this.
Wow.
Almost any comedian would tell you this.
And you're just like writing out the stories the way you would tell them on the air
Yeah,
and just like trying this and that. And then just in terms of
Junk.
process, do you edit it down that day? Do you look at it the next day?
a few days later, I look at it and go like, what is still funny to me? And I think the key thing when you're evaluating your own comedy is, does it make you laugh? Not, can you imagine other people laughing? I talk about this with Mulaney all the time. If you imagine people laughing when you're writing your joke, it's not a good joke.
Huh?
It genuinely is. It's the Venn diagram of what is funny to you, testing it out with the Venn diagram of what the audience thinks is funny. In that middle area, which is,
Right.
I believe, only through trial and error that you find that really, really solid stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about the thing that you texted me about the other day, which is like you feel like you have some topics that you could talk about on stage, but you don't know exactly how to make them stand-up comedy. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if this is a thing, but it's going on right now. My sister and Susanna, my girlfriend, they talked me into getting a better doctor.
Okay.
And so
Great premise.
and so I have this doctor who then set up all of these appointments for me with other doctors and specialists, and have had apparently like, you know, I'm being checked for cancer in all these new ways, and just there's been just like a test. Pretty much I've had a doctor's appointment every day
Right.
that I'm in New York to look at something. Like today I had the experience of going to a dermatologist, which is why I'm dressed the way I am, because I dressed for the doctor. Do you dress for the doctor?
No.
You don't dress for the doctor?
What are you
A new
talking
doctor
about?
who you've never met? You don't
No.
want to like look like you don't dress for the, you guys don't dress for the doctor? But you've
What are
never
you
met
trying
them.
to, trying to hook up with a doctor?
No, I just want them to think like you're like not.
This is a bit, by the way.
Really?
Dress for the doctor
don't dress
is a
for the
bit.
doctor?
Are you kidding me? That's your bit. We talk about this on the podcast all the
Okay,
time,
yeah.
by the way, which is you need friends in your life who are pointing out when you talk, that's a bit.
That's a bit.
That's
okay,
a bit.
okay.
That's
So
a bit.
yeah, and then the joke was on me because it's a dermatologist. So the first thing they do is they put you in a room and they say, "Okay, take off all of your clothes." And so then, so I met this doctor in my underwear,
Right.
like, and then
And he's like, he's ruining my plan to impress him with my khakis.
And then that's why I wore the corduroy jacket.
Yeah,
I thought
I
it
like
looked
it.
like
I
a
like
little
it.
bit like professorial.
It's
Like,
impressing to me. Do you mind taking that off, actually, and your shirt and your pants as well?
Because I'm not somebody who feels comfortable like naked even in front of myself. Like
That's
I just
funny,
feel
yeah.
very
I
awkward.
relate to that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so then, and then we had a whole awkward conversation. Or awkward for me. He's used to talking to people who are completely naked except for their underwear, and just like talking about this and that, and just like, so you going back from vacation? You know, what's that place like? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he was young, and very handsome. Not that I wanted to make
Is this
out with
the
him.
end of the story?
I don't know. Anyway, so okay, so I'm going to all these doctors. And trying to like be like a good patient. And then the other thing I did is that I got a blood test to see if I'm going to get dementia.
Oh, wow. Did the results come back? No, you did it this morning.
No. I did that a week ago, and the results came back while I was on vacation with Susanna. And we opened them up, and we don't know what they mean.
That's funny. That's a great joke. That's a great place to explore for a joke.
And like,
We
you
don't
know,
know
like
what they mean, which is a perfect example of someone who would have dementia.
Exactly.
Doesn't understand
like,
the
we
results.
need a doctor to explain it.
Yeah.
And but we haven't had the appointment with the doctor. But then the whole dementia thing is so big and serious because my dad had dementia, and my uncle and my cousin, and then her mom has dementia and she's dealing with her mom, and then I am 20 years older than her, and we're getting married, and so this is so much personal information I'm sharing with people.
Get used to it. You're a stand-up comedian now.
And so, like, you know, I don't like the idea of her having to take care of me if I have dementia.
I get that.
But of
course, by the way, but that's of what you've said. That's by far the most interesting thing you've said, because
Right.
it's a confession,
right?
And that's really deep. And I think confessions are part and parcel with stand-up.
Okay.
I think that, you know, if you're, Pete Holmes and I have talked about this on the podcast before. If you're not telling secrets on stage, who cares?
And okay, that's a really good note, and familiar to me and how to make a story. But then if I were to go into the whole dementia thing, like would I talk about caring for my dad with dementia and
I
what
think
that was
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
and talk about like her experience with her mom, if she would let me,
yeah, I think all of that is really good, and I think it's very relatable and it's vulnerable about you fearing. It's really interesting, actually. I've never heard someone say they're worried about getting dementia because the other people in their life would have to take care of them. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of like a joke in that, it's like, and it's a hard joke to write. I mean, look, it's like writing jokes about dark things is hard. It's like I remember the first time I wrote a joke about a dark thing was the first dark thing I wrote was I had when I had bladder cancer, and I said to the audience, I go, but it's funny because I'm a hypochondriac, and I think the funniest thing that can happen to hypochondriac is you get cancer because you're like, see, I told you. Remember last week when I thought I had rickets? I'm probably right about that too. There's going to be a lot of changes around here. And I remember when I wrote that joke, I was like probably like 23 years old when I wrote that joke. And I was like, oh, that's great because the audience is signaled that it's okay to laugh at this subject matter. And of course, with my special that's about to come out, a lot of it, I have to do a lot of that because it's about my dad having a stroke. And so it's like, are we okay as a group to laugh about that my dad had a stroke? And I tell the audience basically through jokes that we're gonna joke about it.
But how do I, like, the stories about my dad having dementia and what it was like to witness that and be part of it, and yeah, like I don't even know where to begin. Like I could talk about what it was like. I don't know. Like I don't know how to tell that as a. Like I know how to tell it as a story.
I guess
I
I
don't know how to like. I don't know how to find.
Find the laughs in it.
Yeah.
Was there any moment when you were spending time with your dad where something stuck out as a realization to you?
I mean, the closest I have to that is that, you know, like you're watching your parent and they're so reduced, and it's just hard to know with like what to do with your feelings about it. In my dad's case, at some point I realized that he had been on a trajectory towards this moment for a long time. Like he's somebody who never really liked new things. He didn't enjoy travel very much. And there was a point like years ago, like a decade ago maybe, when I was down visiting him in Baltimore and he was driving me. He could still drive. He was totally like himself. Then he's driving me to the train, and so it's just the two of us in the car, and I was saying like, so what's going on that you're enjoying? Like, what's kind of fun? What are you into right now? And he said nothing. And he didn't say it in like a self-pitying way.
Right.
He didn't say it in a kind of like, it wasn't like for show. It
Sorry to
wasn't
laugh at this. This is funny.
It is funny.
I think him saying nothing
Like
is
literally
really
nothing.
funny.
Is that true? Like I don't know. For me, it's just like that real moment. Like, so you'll explain how it's funny. But anyway, so it's nothing. And then it just it's funny because I remember like at that moment I thought like I got to get him interested in something. You know what I mean? Like what could I get him interested in? Then you think like, well, maybe he could learn to play bridge. Like he's really great with numbers. He's an accountant, or like poker. You know, like poker.
Yeah, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
It's like, and I realized like I had to get him interested in something, and then I realized that's what I've been trying to do my whole life.
Basically, yeah.
And
it's true.
Except this time he literally can't do anything. You know what I mean? Like earlier in his life, like I was trying to get him interested in stuff, but he could do something. Now he literally can't do anything.
You mean once the dementia developed?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, like, and basically, like his world just got smaller and smaller and smaller until his whole world was he would get up kind of late, he would go and he would have like a little ritual he did with like changing the battery in his hearing aid, and like he took a certain pills, and then he had the same breakfast every day, and then he would sit on a couch in front of golf. Like there's a golf channel on TV, and then he would sort of phase in and out of like understanding what was going on.
Yeah.
I would sit in front of that TV with him for hours, and I never figured out, is this like, are they rerunning the same tournament over and over, or are these different tournaments? I could never figure out like, what am I even seeing?
So one joke that occurs to me is like you go through this whole thing of like I would visit my dad and he would change the battery in his thing, and then he would do this and this, and can you go through the methodical thing that you're going through, which is all very serious, and then you just go, anyway, I'm trying to avoid that for my girlfriend.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know it's true, but it's also, I think, a punchline. Like, I think, like, the audience kind of gets locked into what is the ritual, day-to-day ritual of your dad now in a real way. And then you're circling back to the girlfriend thing, which I just think I like. It's true, but I think it is funny.
Yeah.
The other thing is like, extrapolate this out. It's like, you don't want your girlfriend to deal with you having dementia. It was like, could there be some kind of a program? Could you set up a program for when you get dementia? You know what I mean? Like, could there be a thing where it's like she's cordoned off from, like she shows up one day. This is terrible. I'm pitching something terrible, but it's like she shows up. She shows up one day, and the locks have changed, and I'm inside with a nurse, and she doesn't have to deal with me again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like it might be like your brain running wild on. If you really don't want your girlfriend to deal with you having dementia, it's like, well, what high in the sky crazy idea would you do so she doesn't have to deal with dementia Ira?
Do you really want to know?
Sure.
I mean, we featured this book on This American Life a year or two ago by Amy Bloom, where basically her husband realizes he's getting Alzheimer's, and he says to her, like, I don't want to go through that. I don't want you to go through that. So what we're going to do is you're going to figure out how I'm going to kill myself.
Yes,
I
heard
you're the
story.
researcher.
It's beautiful.
And then he goes off to this place in Switzerland where where you kill yourself. I mean, honestly, like that,
that's what you do.
Yeah, but then
That's
there's
by the
not
way,
comedy.
people should listen to that episode if they haven't listened.
It's really
incredible.
amazing. But also, like, when I heard it, I was like, okay, that's a good plan. But then I realized he has trouble getting in, and like it's a whole fucking pain in the ass. And then I realized, like, I fucking live in America. I could just buy a gun. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you have to like do this
all
fancy?
All of this. Like that's your bit. Like, I think that's your bit. Like
I live in the United States of America. There's one thing you can do is easily kill yourself at any point.
By the way, you and I have done a lot of stories over the years,
Yeah.
and the classic example of this in yours and my process was in my girlfriend's boyfriend. I was working on stories about when I was with Jenny, and we had like a really turbulent part of our relationship. And I remember saying to you, like, we were seeing other people and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, but I could never talk about that on stage. And you were just like, no, that's the stuff that you have to talk about. It's like I would say the same exact thing.
No, and I understand that, but like for the part of it of like, are there jokes in the Amy Bloom part, or is the Amy Bloom part just a setup to the joke of like, I'll just buy a gun?
It's a setup. Buy a gun. I'm in America. Buy a gun.
Unless
I can buy 10 guns. I could buy a semi-automatic weapon.
I can.
Yeah. I mean, that's your joke. It's like,
Right.
I'm in America. I mean, if there's one thing about America that works,
Right.
it's too many guns.
Too many guns.
which is a really dark thought. It's probably too much. Maybe certainly too much for your audience. But yeah, that in that vein, I think like you have to let your brain go unfiltered. I mean, you have to get on, and the big thing is you got to get on stage. I don't even know if you have enough time to get on stage. You're so busy with your show. But I do think that that's where you're going to find it.
Yeah,
I wrote down this one random joke, which is like, my girlfriend and my sister got me to go to better doctors. And I just wrote down like, I didn't know I had worse doctors or I didn't know I had bad doctors until I found out about better doctors. It's just kind of a funny, like, it's like a truism.
Yeah.
It's like when someone points out something that's better and you're like, fuck, I didn't even know. I thought I had the good one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
It's like this new place had a waiting room. They had forms. They gave me a gown. The last place didn't even give me a gown. But like, I think that first of all, I think the better doctors thing is great. And I think it also sets up this dynamic. Craig Mazin, screenwriter who made The Last of Us, he always points out that so often in films, we're not interested in who the characters are. We're interested in what is the dynamic between the characters. I think stand-up comedy is the same way. When I talk about my wife or my daughter on stage, what's interesting is not who they are, who I am. The interesting part is what is my dynamic with them.
Right.
I think that fundamentally a good place for you to work from is the stand-up that you played for me earlier. Maybe we'll play a little bit more. And then if you can get that working. So like, for example, like the hiking is walking thing, that's 5 minutes and it has an ending. like the ending is so clear of
Right.
someone being like, do you want to go hiking? So it's like, you know, it's going to start big. You'll have new observations that we talked about potentially. And then you know where it'll land. So that's like a good 5-minute bit. And I would say like have the 5-minute bit and then try to potentially do one of these kind of riskier stories. For example, like talking about your dad or talking about you trying to save your girlfriend from your own illness, etc. And then figure out how to close strong. So I think that's going to be the challenge is stage time is key. And then I think you have a great beginning bit. You need to come up with a good closing bit. And then in the middle is where you'll put the stuff that honestly, it's like experimental. Like it's going to be hard to figure out where the laughs are in talking about illness and your girlfriend and seeing doctors and all that stuff. But once you find it, I think that that's going to be probably the best stuff you have because it's most personal. The final thing we do on the show is Working Out for a Cause. Is there a nonprofit that you like to support that we will contribute to and then link to in our show notes?
I would say that given the current challenges facing public broadcasting, if people listen to their local public radio station, this would be a really good time to donate.
That is a great point. And
the
also,
funding is threatened, and, it's a good moment for it.
100% true. Also, to be a subscriber to This American Life to get bonus episodes.
Sure, do that too. But I feel like I feel weird asking people to donate to a charity that like I run.
Okay.
So
So I'm going to give you WNYC because that's
Great.
our local one.
great.
And we'll link to them in the show notes and hopefully people will contribute there.
Yeah.
Ira, thank you so much for coming on the show to actually work out material.
I know. Wow. Yeah. Well, thanks for the advice.
I think you were our first guest.
I think I was too. So should I come back with Should I come back with material? Do you want me to come
I'm open
back?
to you coming back.
Okay.
I'm open. As you know, first of all, you've been the great ally of my entire artistic career. You're the mentor that I thought I'd never have, that no comedian actually was willing to be. So you took on that daddy role in my life. Well, you know that's true, right?
Kind of, yeah.
So like so early in my career, all I wanted was a mentor. All I wanted was someone. I wanted Colin Quinn. I wanted, any number of these comics to take up my cause and help me and teach me. And like no one did, and then you did.
Huh.
So anyway,
Okay.
which is all to say,
All right.
I'm at your behest. Whatever you want from me, I'll do this anytime. You can go work on material, come back, and we'll keep talking about it.
All right.
That's
all right.
it?
Well, maybe I will. Yeah. All right.
I would say wildly unhinged.
No.
You're hard. Well, you're hard to wrangle.
No,
You're hard to wrangle.
I come in a cage and I say, here's the key.
You did come in a cage, and then you let yourself out of the cage. It's over by the door. It's off
Great
camera.
trained. I'm great trained.
But okay, so I found out you were in town because I get the Union Hall Bail House email, which people should get, by the way.
That's great.
It's great.
Yeah, you find out what's going
You
on.
find out what's going on
I
in
know.
Brooklyn comedy
I get
scene. And they book great shows.
They do,
I developed a bunch of shows there.
of course.
All of my girlfriend's boyfriend special I did in that basement at Union Hall.
Really?
Yeah. And then we shot a lot of Sleepwalk With Me film at Union Hall.
Oh yeah.
Tons of parts of it.
Yeah.
But you did. But so I noticed. I knew that you were the head writer for After Midnight because I saw you. I was on it.
You were great.
Thanks. I tried my best. And then it got canceled.
Sure did.
So
Sure did. Sure. That's what they said.
how'd you feel when it got canceled? Were you like, because I know you like New York, so there must have been some hint of relief that you get to come back to New York. It was a silver lining, even though you got canceled. Being canceled sucks, but
Yeah. There was definitely a silver lining there with the coming back. I don't think that I am supposed to, I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, LA is this, New York is this.
yeah.
I'm
LA's a dolphin. New York is a manta ray.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But for me, that's not really a place where I'm thriving. I finished The Mentalist. I
Yeah.
went through episode 1 through they get married.
Okay.
Okay? Robin Tooney and Simon Baker get married.
Okay. I've never seen an episode.
At the beginning, they don't want
you're
anything to
going
do with
way-
each other.
You're going way past
That
my
is
intelligence,
so much time.
knowledge of the show.
So much time
Okay.
I've spent watching The Mentalist.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm like,
Can I just say that you are younger than me, and sometimes you feel like my aunt.
I don't know. It took so long to get here. And I'm so sweaty. And then you're like, hey, how about this for a razz? No. Okay, so I'm young compared to some.
You're much younger than me.
Well,
Yeah. Well.
hey, are you in your 40s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so can I ask you something? What would you say a cowardly man in his 40s does for fun?
For fun, cowardly. I would just think like stays indoors, kind of agoraphobic.
What's he do indoors?
Maybe watches Game of Thrones.
Really?
Yeah, like back to back,
Okay.
over and over again.
Okay. So okay. Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Okay. That's
Are
good.
you writing something where there's a cowardly man in his 40s?
Yeah.
And you were thinking of me.
No.
You think I can play that part?
I'm not razzing you. I'm not razzing you. I don't say, oh, you seem like my nephew. No, this is just. I'm doing some research. I'm trying to, I don't do stand up anymore,
Yeah.
and so
You're doing stand up. I saw you at Union Hall. It was on the
you
email.
You would not believe what that show is.
Okay.
It was. I would say it was one of the worst.
Really?
It was so bad. And
really? So
and
you're
I'm
not
doing
even
a second
counting
one.
it. So now you're quitting.
No, I quit before.
You quit, but then you came back for one final show at Union Hall,
no,
and then you quit
This
again?
this show was not. Oh, it was.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never seen you not be good.
It was so bad, and then and during it, I was like, okay, so I got engaged.
No.
I got engaged.
Congrats.
Oh, thanks. It's like I pretty much
Breaking
held him
news.
at gunpoint.
We're going to send this video to TMZ.
Well, truly, I was like, we're getting married. Okay, so then he came, and I was like, don't come, and he's like, I'm gonna come, and then
Your fiance.
yeah, you know him,
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
Mike,
Me.
no, Mike.
Yeah. We got engaged a few weeks ago, and then I came to your show the other night.
Okay, so basically, okay, do you know how many Mikes I've dated?
No.
5.
That's
Okay,
a lot.
That's
That's so many mics.
Many mics. If you're like,
So many mics. It's like a song.
oh, like Neil Brennan.
That's 3 mics.
Oh,
Neil
sure.
Brennan special,
Oh, I
3
could do
mics.
a 5 mics. That would be. They'd
5
say
mics.
new and
That's
improved.
your special.
Yeah, that's
5
like-
mics.
Okay, so
All right.
okay, so we were talking. Oh, so basically, I was like, "Don't come.
Don't come.
You're not gonna like it. It's gonna be bad." I knew
Right.
it was gonna be bad.
Because, by the way, one of the great luxuries of doing stand-up comedy is when you get to a point where you don't have to have people you know in the audience.
That's hasn't. Yeah. So
Don't you
then,
think?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it'd be great to ride in a limo. Okay.
The limo of, yeah.
Okay, these are cool things.
The limo of anonymity. You're a stand-up comedian in front of strangers.
Okay, so basically, I kept looking at him,
Okay.
and you know the face your loved ones make when you are making a fool of yourself.
Uh-huh. That's what he was doing.
This is the face he's making,
Okay. Oh, God.
and I was like, "Dang, that's true." And it was just, here's the thing: is that I set it up really bad.
Yeah.
Where I was like, this is gonna be not even a show, I'm sorry. And then people were like, oh. And then I knew already I'd set it up pretty bad.
This is at Union Hall. Uh-huh. This is your stand-up show.
It's not a stand-up show.
Well, why do you keep saying that?
Because it wasn't.
What was it?
I told one joke, and they were like, oh. And then I was like, whoa. And then I was trying to get them to make the worst art ever so that we can cleanse them
Okay.
so that they can go off and make good stuff.
So let's just call it a conceptual show. That is ridiculous. That's the premise of the show. Okay, tell me what the joke
I got like
is. What's the
5
joke?
pounds of air dry clay.
Okay, great.
So much.
5. Okay, I'm imagining this. 5 pounds of air dry clay.
It's clay you don't have to put in the oven.
Okay, and then did you hand it out to the audience?
Yeah, and then I basically had them come up with like the worst, like a theater and the worst song and dance and pictures, and then it was just like, and then it was that was to cleanse them.
But this of course goes to what I love about your shows. You're saying it's not stand up, but it's its own kind of comedy creation.
It wasn't.
It's experimental. It's far out.
Something.
But you don't need the audience to like go nuts. You just need for it to be an experience. It seems like what you're going for is not set up punch, but rather an experience. And they got it. They will never forget it.
You know, I think it's yeah. I'm doing this other thing on Sunday, a pie tasting festival.
I saw that.
But people keep thinking it's a pie eating contest.
Right.
And we're going to run out of pies so fast because
Yeah.
people only are supposed to eat one chunk.
Yeah, that's a pie adjacent activity.
Yeah.
But it's not the same pie activity.
No.
Yours is pie tasting.
Yeah.
And that a more common one is pie eating competition.
Right.
Like competitive eaters.
Right. That's not what we're doing.
Right.
I hope nobody shows up.
So you do all these wild shows that are kind of bizarre concepts like the pie tasting. You did a car wash show once.
Oh, that was rough.
Like, what would you do if it was just like there's no...
I didn't.
You spend
No
it
one
on-
bought tickets.
Right.
No one bought tickets.
No one bought tickets.
And so then I had to front the cash, and I didn't have that cash, and so I wrote a check knowing it would bounce by the end of the day. And then luckily people came and drank a lot, which was great because then they could. But I was sweating there for a bit.
So, okay, you're doing a pie tasting this week. This will have elapsed by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
This comes out in a week or so. You did the car wash show.
These things are.
You did this recent show at Union Hall that you're telling me where you distributed clay.
No, like the clay was not even. That was probably the best part of it. And now I've got 4.5 pounds of clay at my house. It's just like these things are so poorly conceived.
No.
And then, but the thing is that I'll execute anything,
Okay. Yeah.
and then immediately feel regret.
Right. There's something in you that wants to execute and create and have a thing happen.
If you're like, what part feels best?
Yeah.
Making it, getting it done,
Yeah.
having people see it.
Yeah.
I would say making it, getting it done.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you could just put me in a cell, and you're
Yeah.
like, make 7 buttons,
Yeah, yeah.
or whatever.
You like creating things.
But then the reception is really the worst part.
Yeah.
One time I did this thing where I made a bunch of paper mache and let people beat it for 4 hours, and I hid.
What are you going to do at your wedding? Are you going to bring some of this energy to the wedding?
I don't think people like this.
No?
Is based on my numbers? No, I don't think people like this. And then I think also what I think is funny is not. I'd say what you think is funny,
Yeah.
other people think is funny.
Okay.
When you write a joke, it makes sense to others.
But that's process of elimination. Like I always think of it as like a Venn diagram. It's like, here's what I think is funny. Here's what they think is funny. And then I'm trying to figure out like what's in that middle area, the little shaded area. Oh, wow. And so
I think it's just one circle. In my mind, it's just one circle.
your side, what you think is funny.
And that's what other people, no, that's what other people think is funny. For you.
Yeah, but that's a sleight of hand. That's a trick.
Oh, everybody's a magician. I feel like nothing I think is funny to others.
It's not true.
No, well, okay.
You're-
Can I tell you something?
Okay.
Can I tell you something that I think is really funny and makes people so sad?
Okay.
And I don't know. So I came back from LA. In LA, I was the shortest, ugliest person there.
In all of Los Angeles?
Yes, and
I don't believe it.
I looked around.
I just don't
and
believe
I kept
this.
trying to find an uglier, shorter
False
person.
premise.
I kept trying to find an uglier, shorter person, and I could not find one.
Okay.
And then I come back here, and I'm surrounded by short uglies, and I feel more
Yeah.
comfortable.
Great place for them.
But then
New York City.
if I say that, people are like,
Oh, right. They feel bad.
they feel bad.
Interesting.
It's just not. It's
You know what? Sometimes I think this goes straight into the working it out section of this podcast. But I think sometimes with stuff like that, if you're self-deprecating,
Yeah.
it's like you need to orient the audience in that you're okay.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I was.
Oh, you'd be like, I'm taller than children. Actually, I did just see a cousin yesterday.
Yeah.
Got so tall.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's tall.
How tall?
5 feet.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking. She's 10.
That's how tall I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Your daughter is 5 feet tall.
Yes.
What?
Not only that, she's 5.5 inches.
Ew, I'm gonna be sick. Are you serious? Are you serious?
I'm serious. It's intimidating for my wife, actually. She's getting there. She's on the way.
I am gonna be sick.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, are a lot of your like people around you keep talking about like how the end is near? Do you know people?
Oh yeah, like real severe pessimists.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like a lot of my friends here are severe pessimists.
Yeah.
And I was like, and they were like, you got to buy a gun. And I was like, I can't buy a gun. I really just.
You have friends who are like, you gotta buy a gun?
Yes. And I was like, and then they're like, you got to buy a crossbow.
Crossbow.
And I was like, I just can't have this in my house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can barely take the steak knives
I'm not
out.
gonna do that.
So then they were like, well, then you just take a martial arts class.
Okay, smart.
And then I got the crap kicked out of me. I went to one
Really?
class. I was choked within minutes.
Wait,
I was
what?
pinned down by this girl's knees. I
Was
was
it like kickboxing?
no, it was jujitsu.
Oh God.
I couldn't believe it.
I did kickboxing.
That's good.
But there was no real combat. It was mostly like, an
Jiu-jitsu.
instructor,
Yeah.
And I actually, God damn it, I had a joke. I'm going to take out my joke about it because I wrote down an observation. I tried kickboxing, which was a huge mistake, my instructor explained to me. She didn't use those words, but at the end of the lesson, she said, quote, if you ever do this again, I said, I think I'm going to do it again. I just purchased a packet of lessons from you right there. And then I go, she also called me short. She didn't say the word short. She just said, when you jab, you want to jab up. And I said, or wherever my opponent is. And she said, what? And I said, nothing. That makes me want to do that joke.
That's a good joke. You should do that.
We could do kind of a jujitsu kickboxing combo act.
That's what they're hoping for. That's what they're hoping
Well, that's what the
for.
audiences are sort of begging for.
Yeah, they do want that. But if I was, I think if I was 5'10", I think my life would be
Would be what?
so good.
Really?
I would walk
Your
around-
life is great now.
I would walk around respect.
You're a comedian. You're a comedy writer. Things are going well. You got to put it in context. No?
No, I think this would be really good.
Just to,
Are you
I'm gonna-
5'10"?
5'9".
Do you think your life would be better with just one more?
5'10", 1 more inch. I only thought about it when I saw the Celine Song movie recently.
Oh, that one. I
About
didn't see it.
dating,
Oh, yeah.
where someone's like a professional dating expert.
Uh-huh.
And then they fall in love with like Pedro Pascal, but
Uh-huh.
then they have another boyfriend that's like Chris Evans. The Materialist is the movie that I was referencing. Celine
yeah.
Song movie. And then the whole thing is, it's just very cynical about New York dating, which is like, it's like a bunch of, like men being like, I only want women who are blah, blah, blah. And women being like, I only want men who are 6 feet tall and upper, whatever. I literally hadn't even considered that. I'm 5'9". I was never like, oh, that's on the short end of side. I thought it was like that's sort of average 5'9".
You know, it's like, I'm looking for a guy in finance, 6'5", $10.
Yeah, the height thing I never considered.
I know. It's a big thing.
It's a thing, apparently.
People really
I
like
found
to
out
know.
in this movie.
That's how you found out.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like a huge
Because I've been with my
cultural-
wife for 20 years. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. I've been with my wife for 20 years. So I don't think about dating. I just don't think about it.
But as a stand-up comedian, you have been exposed
Yeah.
to so many jokes about dating
No, you're right.
that I'm like, how
That's a
did you
good
not
point.
how did it not come in? Like
I have no
everyone's
idea.
Like, everyone's like, short king. I want a tall
Right.
one.
I know. That's true. Maybe I'm not watching enough of the other comics.
I think you gotta check
Short
in.
king.
That's what everyone's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big topic,
Size
apparently.
queen, size queen.
Oh, okay. That's a thing, too?
Size queen?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It means I think that you want to have a big junk.
Partner?
Junk.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This isn't junk. This junk isn't big enough for me.
So that makes you a size queen?
Yeah.
If you're considering that? Okay,
I
interesting.
am not the person to tell you this stuff.
No, I think you're just the person because I have no other sources.
I'm sorry that's the case. I just was the head writer for the show about the internet, and I
know.
every day I was like, wow. Okay, like I learned Google Docs 3 years ago. Like I'm not
Google Docs?
Google Docs.
Okay.
I thought once you did a Google Docs, you could never find it again.
What do you mean you can never find
I
it
thought
again?
once you did a Google Docs, it was gone.
A Google Docs?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like a shared Google document?
Yes.
With someone else?
Yes. Then I was like,
What do
once
you mean
it's
it's gone?
I did not know you could just go back to it. I just figured, I left that page. It's gone. But now I know Google Docs,
Forever.
and I know some internet terms like mudang,
Oh, what's mudang?
baby hippo.
That's an internet term?
Yes, like a wet. Mudang was very popular.
Okay.
Mudang was very popular. It was
Is
a
it
wet.
an innuendo?
No.
Okay.
It's like a wet. It was like a wet baby hippo,
Okay.
and everybody loved mudang. But then mudang started biting,
Okay.
and now mudang just turned 1.
Oh, this is like an actual hippo, like at a preserve or something?
Yeah.
Wildlife preserve?
Yeah, this was very big.
What do you think? Okay, so you wrote for Joe Pera Talks with You. You wrote for Z-Way.
I can't believe
The
you
Tonight
just
Show.
learned about mudang.
After Midnight. I know. I still don't even fully understand what you're talking about, other than it's a hippo, baby hippo.
Well, it's mature now.
Okay, so you've written for Joe Pera, Z-Way, The Tonight Show, After Midnight. What do you think? What makes someone a good writer in a writer's room? For real. Why are you laughing so hard?
I just think it's like, I don't, not me. I think it's like, I think truly, I think that I think it's like this weird thing where it's just like, you really got to get along with other people. That's big because you spend a lot of time with people
You get along with people.
sometimes.
I've never seen you not get along with someone.
I think I'm a little bit, I get a little grumpy. I'm a grumpy person.
You're like Mudang.
I'm a little bit like Mudang. That was good. That was good.
That's a good writer's room move.
That was good.
Called back to your thing.
That's really good.
Yeah.
No, I like it when people like sometimes in a writer's room you're like, no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I really like when people are like, hey, here's another idea. Mm-hmm. Like a solution oriented.
Right.
Yeah. But I would say that I really tried to I tried to make it a pleasant experience, but it's
I'm
hard
sure
to
you
say
did.
it's hard to say if that happened.
I always think of like collaborative writing things as like you're like yes-anding what the other person says.
Yeah.
They yes-and what you say. You yes-and that. And then you build. And then you're like, is this something?
I know, but then
Or you just throw it away.
with late night, they're like, build it fast. And you're like, whoa, okay. And they're like, it's
Build
due
it
now.
fast.
It's like it's crazy. Like, you're like, you have 3 hours. Write the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, let's do it.
Build it fast.
Yeah.
That's what it was like when I was on After Midnight. I was like all day. I was just like, this. Okay, now we're filming it, which is fun. It's like Saturday Night Live, but in like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of a week.
That's true. They do get a week.
You get a whole week.
Yeah. The one time I was at the Tonight Show and the Backstreet Boys walked by in chicken suits.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, this is really late night.
This is very late night. Everything you've done, I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, is rated between an 89% and 100%.
That's not true.
Are you ready to admit in this podcast that you're a critical darling?
Well, that is so not true.
It is true.
I think a lot of usually if I get hired on something, I think, well, this is about to turn.
Do you really feel that way?
I don't, because I feel like I don't have any. I feel like whatever I think is funny does not connect at all to people.
Wait, but you were the head writer for After Midnight for what, 2 years?
About
2 years or so? Yeah.
But being a head writer is not. It's not like you're like, I got this creative vision. Come with me.
Yeah.
It's like, it's basically like you're trying to wrangle other people's ideas.
Right.
So like you're really not.
Right, you're like the camp counselor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you a good camp counselor? Did you
No.
ever camp counsel?
Yeah. No. Terrible.
But
at
you
it.
weren't good at it?
I'm terrible
You
at
lose
it.
the kids
Well,
in the
no.
forest?
This is what I really did feel like. Truly, like every day, I felt like these writers are very talented people.
Yeah.
But truly, every day, I felt like they came in being like, teacher, please kill yourself.
What?
And I was like, this is, I wanted to become,
That was what you were getting from them?
in my mind,
They didn't say that, but you felt that from them.
in my mind,
Yeah.
like there was this thing where it was like, LOL.
Yeah.
So the Gen Z uses this thing called Idge Bowl.
Okay.
But I mixed it up and I thought it was T-Job Jobo.
Okay.
So I texted that someone made a joke and I trying to give positive feedback. I replied T-Job Jobo.
What is that? But what does that mean? What does the actual thing mean?
I just rolled on the floor or something.
Okay.
Idge Bowl?
Okay.
I just rolled on the ball.
Oh, okay.
Idge Bowl.
Rolling on the floor laughing?
That's
Is that what you mean? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up.
Idge Bowl. I just burst out laughing. That's
Okay.
it. And I thought that I forgot what it stood for, and I thought it was T-Job Jobo.
IJBOL is slang acronym for I just burst out laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've never had that. I've never gotten that
I
from
can't
someone.
believe I'm your youth ambassador. That's wild.
And then, of course, there's LOL, ROFL, LMAO.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know those.
Yeah, but then it's like I didn't hear the end of T-Job Jobo. They were like, "You're T-Jobbing my Jobo." I couldn't hear
I don't
that.
know what that means.
I don't know either. And they kept going for T-Job Jobo. I couldn't believe how much T-Job Jobo.
Wait, hold on. I got to look that up, though.
No, there is no T-Job
Oh,
Jobo.
they just made that up.
No, I thought it was Idge Bowl.
But it was T-Job Jobo. But what was that?
Nothing.
It was nothing?
I bet, you know what I bet? I bet people will be comment on your stuff and sometimes say an Idge Bowl.
No, never seen it. I think I'm not killing
No,
enough
you're
over
killing.
text.
You're killing. How do you laugh? On text.
Haha.
Just two?
No, I never did two.
Two is
Almost.
wicked.
Oh, yeah. I would do one or four.
Oh wow, 4's generous. That's
Yeah.
nice. Well,
Yeah.
I once
I'm a laugher.
I once responded to my fiance with 2 ha's, and he's like, aren't you forgetting one?"
I have a thing recently where over text someone like I'll write like can't wait. Like I'll see that I did it to you the other day.
Yeah.
See you at the podcast, can't wait. Sometimes people are like, when you wrote can't wait, I was worried.
What?
Yeah. Like it was like hyperbolic in a way that's not sincere. But it's like, no, it actually is sincere. I don't know.
That's wild. I didn't even realize that was something I needed to worry about.
Okay.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. Okay. You
And
wrote
I'm
it.
not getting a gun.
You wrote on your Substack, quote,
You are digging deep. This feels like it was.
This is a gotcha interview.
This is a gotcha.
This is the takedown. They're not going to be having the pie tasting event this week. That's going to be canceled, Joe. Because we're going to release this in little dribs and drabs in a way that people are slowly realizing you are not as nice as you seem.
I'm not nice. I've been telling people I'm not nice.
You got to spread the word on that because everyone thinks you're nice.
You're nice.
I'm all right, nice.
You're pretty nice.
Thanks.
I would say that I'm not nice, but I have a high voice.
I've never seen you not be nice.
I'm not nice.
This is a bogus claim.
Watch this. Say hi to me.
Hey, Joe. For the audio listeners, that was just some kind of like weird, begrudging smile thing.
They got it. They know.
Okay.
You know these people are listening with their eyes.
Joe Firestone wrote on her Substack, quote, I have started drinking 5 caffeines a day, 4 coffees and 1 soda. I think I'll stop once a tooth falls out, but for now, it's what I most look forward to. Without all 5, my head starts to ache and my personality becomes someone who nods but doesn't speak. My favorite is Phil's coffee because their coffee drinks tastes like liquid cookies. I take a big sip and then I got to run around the room. I'm just so jazzed. And the question is, what are you hiding from?
See, this is when I was working.
Okay.
When I was working.
Yeah, on After Midnight.
Yeah. And I feel like it was a beautiful job with beautiful people.
Yeah.
For me, I was so stressed out.
Yeah.
I was like, I was drinking 5 coffees a day.
Yeah.
Okay? I was listening to a lot of that music that's like, you're gonna have a good day today. Today's gonna be the best one yet. And it's like really upbeat. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like inspired by Lizzo.
Okay.
And it's like, today wasn't good, but tomorrow's gonna be better.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I'll take your word for it.
And I crashed my car while that was playing.
Oh, God. You crashed your car to a Lizzo ripoff?
So bad.
At least it would have some pride if it was to Lizzo.
It wasn't Lizzo.
But it was a ripoff.
I couldn't believe it. It was the crunching sound over the... I was like, this is not going to be a good day.
Yeah.
It was not a good day.
Your backup dancers must have been furious at you.
But it's just like... And like one time I got I found it to be so stressful every day. I was so stressed out.
Just with that particular job? The After Midnight job?
And I was stressed out to be in LA. I was stressed out driving.
Okay.
I would buy the writer's lunch on Thursdays.
That's nice. Wow.
Sure. Nice.
That is nice.
I would go to pick up the lunch and it was
nice
like
gift.
11 people, so it was heavy.
Yeah.
I'd go to pick it up at the front gate.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd get the golf cart to go pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay. And one day I was just not in a good mood, and I guess I drove on the wrong area.
Okay.
And I was picked up, the Paramount police got a picture of me.
Oh, the Paramount Studio
and they were
police.
circulating it saying, who is this woman?
Really?
Let me show you this.
Okay. People, they put up a sign saying, have you seen this woman?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
and no one recognized me because I looked so bad.
Oh, gosh. Mm-hmm. Was it like a surveillance photo still image kind of thing? Because you drove the cart on the wrong side.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, I found it. Okay, here we go. Look at this.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that...
I mean, this is crazy. Should we get this in this camera right here? Wow. You're going to have to send me that. We're going to put that on Instagram.
I couldn't believe that that's what
Do you mind if we put that on Instagram?
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they find you?
No, because they sent it to the office manager, and they're like, who is this? And they're like, we don't know. That might be some kind of rogue PA.
Wow.
Was that worth it?
Yeah, I think that was worth it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, this is the slow round.
Oh, people usually say lightning round.
No, this is the opposite. Slow round.
You do what you want to do.
What's something you believed 10 years ago that you don't believe now?
When was 10 years ago? 2015?
Yeah.
I think that maybe I think that I believed comedy is my life, and now I'm like, that's I don't know her.
I don't know her.
I don't have that hustle.
That's interesting. You lost the hustle? Mm-hmm. Do you remember when you lost the hustle?
Oh, inflection point.
Yeah.
I would say that it was I would say over the 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
And where I was like, oh, you know what? I could just stay home and read and write.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly,
It was like you were allowed to be an introvert.
yeah.
So you're like, oh, yeah, I kind of like being an introvert.
Yeah.
What's a nickname you've been given that was particularly bad or good?
Oh, I used to dye my hair red.
Yeah.
And I found out that people at my college had been calling me the girl with the Ronald McDonald hair.
Oh, God. The girl with the Ronald McDonald hair.
And then I used to work at this restaurant, and they called me Little Piece of Crap.
What?
That was
Why?
That was their nickname.
Why would
for
they
me.
do that?
They'd be like, Little Piece of Crap, you got a four top.
No.
Yes.
It was a restaurant?
Yeah.
Did they mean it like affectionately? Like,
No.
really?
Yeah.
They hated you? Was it a hostile relationship?
No. It was pretty good. But I think that and then I tried to get Meatball started for a bit.
Oh, you tried to get that going.
Mm-hmm.
You thought that would be a good nickname for you. I'll call you that. Meatball.
Yeah.
All right, next one, Meatball. What's a song that makes you cry?
Oh, I love that Lobby I think it's pronounced Siffy song.
Okay.
That's on the telephone.
On the telephone?
It's like, I tried to call you,
You know that one?
You don't know that song?
Gary, do you know that one?
Bless the telephone.
Yes, Bless the Telephone. That's it.
That makes you cry?
It's so sweet. It's so sweet.
Bless the telephone.
It's so sweet.
I got to listen to that one.
It's a sweet one. You're going to love it.
All right.
You love sweet stuff.
Okay. All right, we can work on material. If you have any material
Okay.
that's sort of half-baked, we can
Okay.
throw it in the mix. I had this thing, I don't know if you have this with your fiance, but it's like, I feel like falling in love is a shocking thing in life because you kind of like lose control. Like your whole life you have like plans and goals and dreams, and then you fall in love and you're like, or whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because this is a controversial take around my apartment. Because Jenny saw me talk about this on stage. She was like, that's what you think happened? Like, we've spent the last 20 years doing exactly what you want to do. And therein lies the complexity of relationships when people have two different perspectives on identical events.
Yeah.
And we're both right
Yeah.
because, you know, a lot of times people are doing what the other person wants to do simultaneously. Those things aren't connecting.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. And it's 20 years later, and no one's done what anyone wants to do.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I say on stage, like, so I'm telling you, if this feels familiar, which it usually does, you got to start doing what somebody wants to do because you're running out of time.
Wow. That's like, this is like the best life hack. If you're
What
going
is
on
it?
vacation
Yeah.
with your couple, with your person or whatever, you split up every other day. So it's like one day you make all the decisions.
Oh, that's really good.
And then the next day they make all the decisions. Because
That's what you do with Mike?
yeah, because otherwise
You do that with all the mics?
I've done but it's like you can't otherwise you'll be like you're hungry and you're tired and you don't want to make
Yeah.
but it's like if you know that this is your day.
Oh, that's great.
But maybe you should do that with years.
Years. Yeah.
But I think like
I'll do 2026. You do 2027. I'll do 2028.
Well, I was like, we got this. Yeah, we're trying to. Mike likes to pick where we live,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like, okay, let's go along with it.
Okay.
But I like old stuff, and he likes new stuff.
Okay. You like vintage things.
Sure. And so then it's kind of like each time we kind of end up finding a place that's like
That seems pretty good.
built in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
You
It's-
split the difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I get to pick up an apartment in LA, and I picked one of the oldest ones I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
They had one of these things in the bathroom with a little switch that
Okay.
it's like it heats.
Yeah.
It's like a heat in the wall.
Okay.
Have you seen this?
No, I don't know this.
It's like a heat coils.
Oh, okay.
I guess like if you get out of the shower and you're cold, you put on these. It's very old.
I know nothing of this.
It smells like
The heat coils, do you touch them?
no.
Do you put a towel on them?
No. It's like protected by a grate.
Okay. So it's heat.
Thermidor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's heat. Yeah, I guess it's heat if you want to put it that way.
Do you have any bits you're working on that are kind of half complete?
I'm working on this on a mystery book, and I'm trying to come up with names.
Okay. Jacques,
That's good.
Terrence,
Right now I got Ted Belosi,
Ted Pelosi's good.
and then he works for a woman named Darla Plankton.
Perfect. I know her already. Say no more.
Darla Plankton doesn't sound.
I feel like Darla Plankton is a little bit of the you avatar in the book.
Can you think of a
Darla Plankton. Yeah, I couldn't think of a better name
Can you
for
think
you
of-
than
can-
Darla Plankton.
Can you think of a better last name? It's so hard to come up with
No,
names.
Darla Plankton's
No,
perfect.
no, I need a last name that's normal.
No, it's great. That is normal. Darla Plankton. That's fantastic. You should call the book Darla Plankton. I feel like there could be 10 mystery novels with Darla Plankton as the lead. Do you have any? Are you doing any jokes right now? Though? Like, what's that first joke you do in that show, where you were like, "It bombed," and then I do this other thing?
I think I tried to do the joke. I tried to do the joke about being short and ugly.
Yeah.
And then I tried to do the
Oh, that was that?
yeah.
Okay.
And then I tried to do
The LA joke that you're the shortest person
shortest ugliest person
in LA.
in LA.
Okay. And didn't get any laughs?
Uh,
They kind of gave you this look like, oh, we feel bad for you. Like, we feel bad that you're talking about this.
It was like, oh, yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. But
Maybe like a way to be inclusive with that would be like, don't feel bad for me. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel that, be like, don't feel bad for me. If you were there, you would also be the shortest, ugliest person in Los Angeles. We would be the short, ugly army. We shall go together to Los Angeles en masse, and then we won't feel bad about it anymore.
that's a really good approach. Yeah, get them all in there. All the shit.
The short, ugly army.
Yeah, I know if you're at this show, you're short and ugly as well. That's what's drawing
That's
you
my
to.
demographic.
That could be good. That could be really good. Then we could stack on top of each other and do a slam dunk.
Stack on top of each other and do a slam dunk.
It could be good.
Yes. Okay, so we have the joke about New York, LA at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Are there any other jokes at the beginning?
I'm trying to work out this thing where basically, okay, so there's something that I'm trying to work, but I don't think this is, because I'm never going to do stand-up. Okay, but this is, so basically, I told my fiance, I called him when I finished The Mentalist.
Okay.
I was so thrilled to
You
finish The
completed
Mentalist.
the show, The Mentalist.
I called,
Yes.
and I was like, I finished The Mentalist. And he goes, good job.
Good job.
And that, it felt so bad.
Why? Because you felt like he didn't get you?
I just felt like if that's what I'm,
Right. If that's your accomplishment.
if that's what I did to
maybe
get
you need to
good
set your
job.
sights higher.
Uh-huh.
Good
But
job.
that was tough to get the good job.
Good job. It's so funny you keep saying you don't do stand-up, but you're beloved.
No, I don't. I'm not. You know when there's a pizza place,
Yeah.
and there's a fresh, juicy cheese pizza,
Yeah.
and it's big and round.
Uh-huh.
It's hot, right out of the oven. And you're like, can I get a slice of cheese?
Yeah.
And then they pull out from under
Awful.
a drawer
It's devastating.
some kind of
I mean,
wooden plank
yes.
that's covered in and you
Yes.
think, well, what about this?
What about the new
and they're
fresh
like,
one?
but we got to get rid of this.
Oh, God.
And they heat it up, and it's fine. It's fine. You
Yeah.
forget about it.
That's what soup of the day is. Soup of the day is always just, they're trying to get rid of that soup.
Oh God, that's tough to hear. That's tough. But so basically, I think it's kind of like, for me, I feel like I'm that old slice.
No.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's true.
And I think that people, there's a fresh, like if I was going to Union Hall, it'd be like, Union Hall, look at this hot pizza.
Yeah.
And then they're like, actually, look what we got. Look what you're getting today. And I feel like not all, it's like, I think it's good. I think it's good to have older comedians, younger comedians, all ages. But for me personally, I'm like that. I think it's probably not where I'm supposed to be. It's like, I used to think, I love improv. Let me take all the classes. I'll be improviser.
Yeah.
Turns out I just liked improv. Like to watch it.
Right.
Same with musicals.
Right.
I want to sing and dance.
Yeah.
Turns out I can't. Just like to watch them. You know what I mean? And so maybe it's the same with comedy, where I'm like, that I think that I really like being a fan.
Right.
I like seeing other people's stuff.
Right.
Does that mean I need to go out there and do it? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
But some people need to get out there and do it. I think you need to get out there and do it. I think you're going to be doing it to your dying day.
Oh, wow. Maybe. I don't know.
You don't think so?
No idea.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the specials are going to evolve. But I think that it's going to stay tight.
Wow.
Wait.
But you think the thing for you is mystery novels?
Unfortunately, I'm not great at those either. But I think I'll get there. Like I shouldn't have read a review.
Oh, it was a bad review?
The review said this is the dumbest fucking book I've ever read.
It said that?
Yeah.
The review said that?
Yeah, the review said this is the dumbest fucking book I've ever read.
Was it in a publication?
The New Yorker.
The New Yorker said that? Wow.
But
Dumbest fucking book. I disagree.
But it's
Wait till they read Lisa Plankton. Lisa, is it Lisa Plankton?
Darla Plankton.
Cause. Is there a nonprofit that you like to contribute to? We will contribute to them, and then we'll link to them in the show notes so that others can contribute.
I would have to say, I always like what they're doing at the Ali Fournay Center.
Ali Fournay Center. I'm gonna look it up just so that we get a proper
Of course.
link.
Of course.
The Ali Fournay Center, Transforming Lives, alifournayscenter.org. The Ali Fournay Center was founded in 2002 in memory of Ali Fournay, a homeless, gender nonconforming youth who was forced to live on the streets where they were tragically murdered. Committed to saving the lives of LGBTQ+ and at-risk young people. Our mission is to protect them from the harms of homelessness and empower them with the tools needed to live independently.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And I stand by this organization. But I used to do this stand-up show at Housing Works.
Mm-hmm.
And before every stand-up show at Housing Works, they would say the mission statement, which is basically about how they're helping people with HIV/AIDS and homelessness. And it depressed people
I know.
so much.
True.
even though they were there to
Yeah,
support.
nonprofit events is tricky because you always have to describe what the thing is, and it's like challenging issues.
And every single show, I was like, this is going to be I always thought, could we maybe skip the mission statement? And they're
Yeah.
like, that's the whole point of the show. And I
Yeah.
said, you're right, fair enough. And every time it was uphill. Ooh, it was uphill.
Yeah. We will contribute to alifornaycenter.org. We'll link to them in the show notes and encourage people to contribute as well.
Yeah.
Joe Firestone, thanks for being here. This
Thanks
is
for having
awesome.
me. Well,